Andy.
You sure we just don't want to launch a farming sim next?
Well, I mean, I have ideas of like, city building and stuff like that I could potentially implement in the next
No,
game.
I'm just
No,
teasing.
but I'm not. I'm being serious. Like that was something that I'm seriously thinking about. So like, you know, I want to. So the next game, I don't want to just do like same thing, just 200 years later, right? I want to do something that feels like a different game. So like, coming up with different ideas of like little side things that we can do besides just like running around killing stuff and like, oh, you can like build up a city and I can update the map as you progress. Like, oh, look, you started out in a small little hovel and now you have a big city and you guys are important and you're this and you're that. Like, so that might be kind of a fun thing to do. And it again makes sense in the idea of like
After the world just
rebuilding.
ended.
Yeah. So like, you guys starting out as like mercenaries and then you become, you know, the mayor, the whatever, and that kind of stuff. I haven't really, I don't have it all obviously planned out yet because it's in the future and we still have a game to play right now. So 2 weeks ago, everybody was in Zanambra and you had a number of events happen. Trying to think of them, run them all off and on my head here.
I remember vividly the like graffiti stuff.
Yep. So there was graffiti all over the town with the inverted torch of Thanatos, Moors, whatever we want to call him. And you went around to try and find, what that was about. You didn't really find a whole lot. Callum did have a conversation with
a very nice leper.
A very nice leper Undertaker man, who not a real Undertaker, but someone who was taking the bodies out and taking care of the dead. You found out about serial killer, rumors of many deaths in and around Zanambra. Speaking with the leper, kind of having the discussion, Callum, about, the thought that maybe the symbols are a request to cleanse the town of the depravity. And the idea being that these people, you don't want to say they deserved it, but nobody was necessarily going to miss some of the people that had been killed. We'll get back to that in a minute because at the end you decided you were going to follow somebody, but let's see what else happened.
Wasn't there also like a guy like talking about the end times out in the street?
Yeah. That was the end.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so obviously, Griswold had a message from Netheri, basically saying that she's coming after him, that she just missed you in Stormhaven, and that you get the impression that she interrogated Callista. She did not talk and had her tongue removed for her efforts. So you told everybody about that. Ragnar was given a friendship ring by your bard.
Heavy air quotes.
Yes. Which was awkward as per the bard's personality around Ragnar. And towards the end, you did come across a man who was screaming about the end times, talking about the dead walking amongst you and demons coming up from the underworld. And you had a little discussion with him afterwards and determined that he is probably a very crazy man. And then you decided that you were going to follow him to see where he went. And that's where we left off. So I believe I don't remember where everybody was in the process of that. Because I
Bet.
don't think you were all together.
No, we had split up.
Yeah, I remember we were all together when Griswold told everyone of everything. Then I believe the idea was that Ragna and I were going to go look around at it, like after we woke up halfway through the night to see if we could find anyone putting up the graffiti.
Yep.
And
And Signe
you
and
went with
Callum
Signe.
went the other way.
Yeah. And I think we were saying that Johan, I think, just stayed in the room with. Or no, he was
Johan,
like flying around or something, right?
yeah, Johan was doing aerial surveillance poorly with his lack of dark vision.
Yes. And for the sake of this, we're going to have Johan leaving early to scout out ahead of, because you guys were essentially going to be after leaving Zamber, the plan was to go to Israel. So rather than have anybody control him or just pretend that he's here when he's not,
Just still
we're
flying around blindly the whole time.
yeah. So for the entire session, no matter what happens, he's just up there, and everybody just forgot to tell him that you left.
Well, as long as he leaves us the bag, he can do what he wants.
So anyway, we're just established that he's gonna scout ahead on his flying steed, his Pegasus Nightmare. So yeah, if Ragna and Griswold want to do stealth checks, you can do so to try and follow the crazy man. Also, if you are attempting to look around, not just follow him directly, if you want to just kind of like look at the surroundings as well, then do perception checks.
All right, I will stealth.
Yep. Right now, I would say would be kind of behind Griswold because she knows she's stealth not good. She's stealth 3.
Well, I would say, like, I guess that's the other thing I was going to think about. So, would Ragna be wearing her full armor right now?
I would say so.
Okay, well, then you have a 3. I was going to give you the 15, but if you don't want it.
Ragna would be wearing her full armor. That's just the way she is. She would be looking around pretty well, though.
What did I roll? I rolled a 3 for stealth. Nice.
So, between the two of you, one of you is stealthy and one of you is perceptive, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, following the guy around, you see that he is. So, we'd established that he was sort of like in the general area of the Temple of Selune, though not apparently. So not didn't look like he was affiliated with him necessarily, but he was just around that. And following him, he does seem to kind of like be meandering a little bit, and eventually he makes his way towards kind of what appears to be. It's not really slums, but it's more of the area where you get the idea that it's like where homeless people live. So there's like sort of like ramshackle shelters and like tents and things like that where. So you get the idea that he doesn't really have a house to go to, but the perception as he's sort of going off in that general direction, Ragna, something catches your eye, and so again, remember that this place is built on an old elvish settlement, and you can see that there is a bit of a ruins of a elvish building. There's not enough of it left to determine what it may have originally been, but it looks like there's like looks like there might be stairs that are going down, and then in a bit of that stairwell you can see another symbol of Thanatos, but this is everything that you'd seen before appeared to have been made with black paint. what catches your eye on this is that is the first one that you've seen that does not seem to be made with black paint. It is sort of a brownish color. It's a little bit more faded, but it just kind of catches your eye because it's different from all of the other ones that you've seen.
Okay, Regna is gonna kind of glance over at Griswold, glance back at the symbol, and walk towards the symbol for a better look.
Uh, did you say the guy had stopped yet or no?
Yeah, he would have just gone in and sort of like sat
Okay.
at a like a hobo fire, with like an oil drum on fire kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll follow Ragna and see what she's looking at.
Right. So, if you guys, so you go over there and you can see that it is again it's overgrown. You can see that there's not a lot of traffic through here, and that you can see that there are stairs that are going down, and on the wall, on the right hand wall of the stairwell, essentially, there is a symbol there. So I guess you guys can do investigation checks if you want to look at it closer.
Yep.
Regna will attempt.
I did good this time.
Yeah. So Griswold, you can tell almost instantly that is dried blood.
Okay. If she's like looking like she's gonna touch or anything, I'll just kind of grab her hand and just shake my head no. Looking around on there, is there anything else that looks like it was like drawn or written in the same kind of liquid?
There isn't, but you can see with a 24 on investigation, there are, does appear to be like tracks going down and back up, because they're at the bottom of these stairs. There is what appears to be like a heavy stone door, and you can see that there's foot traffic here. And again, with the 24, it looks like it doesn't look like multiple people. Like the footprints are all the same size. The shoe prints are essentially the same, but you can see that there's a bit of back and forth. But you would guess that it's probably not a bunch of people going in and out of this place.
All right. Where is that in regards to where the guy went and like sat? Like, is it like in his line of sight or anything?
No, so the guy was essentially, so if you're facing sort of the ocean at this point, he was essentially going off to the west, and this is off to the east of the path.
I'll just kind of get in as close as possible so I can whisper and just whisper to Ragna. It looks like maybe a small amount of people have been coming and going from here.
Is there any windows that we can peek inside the building?
There are no windows at all. This looks like it is probably, I don't want to say a basement, but this was essentially like a lower level of a building that no longer stands.
Right now we'll kind of look at Griswold and be like, based on the prints that you see, do you think there's someone in there now? Should we take a look inside?
That's a good question. Based on, does it look like does it look like the steps only come and go like from this immediate area, or are they like leading anywhere else, or does it like kind of get lost away in other footsteps if you get too far away?
For the most part, it gets a bit lost. There's not enough foot traffic where like the grass would be worn. Like, obviously, like even if there's no path, if you walk through grass enough times, the grass will die and you'll see a little dirt
Yep.
trail. You don't see that. So, and I would say again with the 24, which is pretty good, the best you can tell, I mean, these are not supremely old tracks because
Okay.
because if they were just the over time dust and wind and stuff would
Yeah, especially on like the coastline.
right. So the fact that you can see them means that they're relatively
Just out of maybe I can, maybe I can't. Can I tell which direction the tracks are going that look the freshest?
just do it. Do it. I guess just do a straight intelligence roll.
All right. Eh.
I would say they look pretty similar. It's you can't really determine.
All right. I'm gonna look back at Ragnar. I can't tell. I could poke my head in, give a look around, see if I hear anything, or we can wait until we regroup with everyone else.
I feel like the second option would be smarter.
Uh,
I would prefer you sneaking in with someone who can actually sneak.
Well, you could wait right here. I'm not gonna go in far. Just a brief look. What does the door look like? Is it like a heavy wooden door? Does it look like it would be a noisy door?
Looks like a heavy stone door.
Ooh.
It also does not look like it was likely the original door.
Okay. All right. Well, people have been coming and going rather recently. We could just find somewhere to sit down and take watch.
Okay, we can do that.
Is there anywhere we could like an alleyway or something like that where we could pretend to be like hobos or something and just kind of sit there and keep an eye on this area?
Probably the there really isn't any alleys. There's not a lot built around it. What you could do, if you wanted to keep an eye on it, you could probably climb up onto the roof of one of the other, like a second story building. That would be your best bet to generally be somewhat unseen and have a good view of it. There's not really any place on the ground, especially because again, like the way that it's set up is well, any view that you would have that would be close to it would probably be obscured by the walls that are still
Okay.
standing around it.
All right. Then yeah, I'll try to pick a roof that is not likely to let us fall, and I will climb up and secure a rope so Ragnar could climb up.
Alright, now we'll climb.
Do an acrobatics check to get to the second floor, because that's a isn't that a rogue specialty? The second story, whatever it's called.
I think that's thief.
It is
Yeah,
the
I think it is.
Thief Rogue has second story work as a feature.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, I do have athlete, so that might help a little bit with the jumping at 5 feet instead of 10, but even still.
I mean, this is mainly just for flavor and fun. It's not like, yeah,
Will I make an ass out of myself when I climb or not?
yeah. It's not too bad. There is enough, like there are like crates and stuff that are they're around there that it's not like you're having to climb up the side of a flat wall or anything like that. So, I guess that we would do Ragna. You got to do two things. It would be a strength check just to make sure. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't be, but climbing in full plate armor is not easy necessarily. And also just do a stealth check to see how loud it is when you do that.
Can she do athletics for the climb?
Sure.
Yay.
Hey, got the good one out of the way. Come on now.
Not
Oh.
terrible.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I was gonna say that athletics would probably be disadvantage as well, but it really doesn't matter because that's would have been what you got. 15, but it's pretty good. So yeah, I mean, you're not silent to be sure, but it is pretty late/early at this point. So people don't seem to be taking much notice. And where you are right now, as I mentioned, up on the roof, you can kind of see the little homeless encampment, and then you can see that this is not the busiest area anyway. So yeah, you guys are able to get up there.
I'll look at Ragnar and just say, "Oh, anyone asks? We're here to see the sunset or rise."
Okay.
And just look and keep my ears open, I guess.
And so we'll establish. I mean, it doesn't really matter exactly, but like you guys are like in this general. You're over here somewhere.
Okay.
In this area, wherever. This haphazard place outside of the docks, which is where you guys had checked out before. So yeah, do perception checks. What is everybody else doing?
I believe Signe and Callum were also patrolling elsewhere, looking for the same thing, but we didn't see the crazy man.
You did not, and you would also not spot anything in particular on
Okay.
your patrols. I think Arvid was still in bed eating ice cream while everybody else was doing the work.
I
Pretty
believe
much.
so.
So with a 3 and a 12, if you're gonna stay up the rest of the evening and try and watch this place, you do not see anybody.
When it starts to get into be like, morning and stuff like that, does it ever like, I don't want to say like get busy around here, but is there ever like, a regular bit of traffic that like foot traffic that's going by?
You do see a few people, mainly walking towards the dock. So you figure that there are some dock workers that live in this general area that are heading to work.
All right. I'm gonna look at Ragnar. Do you want to stay here and I could go back and grab the others, or would you like to just stay a bit longer and then both go back?
No, I think that's a good idea.
All right. Well, stay quiet then. I'll be back as fast as I can.
Okay.
And I will hop on down and make my way back towards the tavern.
Right, and we'll continue to stare at the door.
I don't know what time the others would have gotten back, so I would just, when I get back to the tavern, I'll go to Arvid's room and knock.
Enter.
I'll pop it open. Has anyone else come back yet?
I imagine, since you guys were actively staking out a location, that Callum and Signe would have probably come back sooner, because we didn't actually find any leads.
All right, then.
Unless Signe says otherwise.
Nope. Finding nothing is finding nothing.
All right. Well, I'll gather us all together. Then we'll all like I'll gather you two and to come into Arvid's room, and how did well? I don't want to waste time. We should get back as fast as possible. Arvid, are you feeling like you could at least walk today around for a little bit?
I've been able to walk for a few days now, so yes.
It's a bit of a walk, though. It's not just right down the road.
I should be fine. I've had my rest. I'm feeling stronger by the day.
You did look fabulous when Signe was carrying you around. If you would like that again, too.
That's up to her to decide.
Well, so
Come on,
last
little
night,
prince, pony up.
Ragna and I, we didn't find anything, but when we were traveling back, we did run into. It seemed like a rather unwell, mentally unwell man who was screaming about the end times and how this city was going to burn and such. So we followed him afterwards, and near where he sat to rest, we found another painting of the Mark of Thanatos, but this one was done with dried blood. So we took a hidden position up on a roof and watched, because we saw that there was foot traffic coming to and from the area. So we watched, nothing came of it, and we decided it'd be better for all of us to be there before anyone tries to go in.
That does sound promising.
I couldn't tell exactly how old the blood was or how fresh the tracks were, but it was definitely it's breezy around there. It must have been somewhat recent to last night at least.
That was my next question. Still, if you have this much information, we should be off at once. And Callum is like halfway out the door as he is saying this.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Signe, there is a rather large stone door that I do not know how it opens, so we may need you. Just be ready.
Yeah, let's go. I'm excited.
So yeah, I will. I'll kind of look to Arvin. I'll just say, should we leave a message for Allie so she knows where to wait for us or go? I don't think this would really interest her going down into a area like this.
No, we can just leave a message with the owner, and they can inform her when she gets up.
Very good. And yeah, we will head out, and I will show them the way back to the area. And yeah, just wait till we're there.
Yeah, it probably takes you 15, 20 minutes to get it back over there. Maybe
Okay.
longer.
If I'm looking at the roof, does it look like Ragnar's still up there?
I don't know,
Yep.
Ragnar, you still up there?
Yep, she wouldn't have moved unless she saw something.
She did not.
Okay,
Alright.
so nope, you see a very conspicuous, fully armored, white-haired girl just standing on a roof.
I'll point her out and I'll just say, "Well, that was where we were hiding. She sticks out a bit more than I thought we would have. At least it was dark. But yeah, come with me. I'll show you the door."
Callum just follows.
Yeah. I'll
Once we get close enough to be like within earshot of Ragnar, I'll just like give a little and have her get her attention to see if she can make her way down.
She will nod. And come on down.
And I'll walk the others right up to the. If is there anyone else like around the door? Is there like traffic going to and from right now?
Nope.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll walk everyone else up to the door, and I'll show them like where the blood was, and I'll just say, I told you what I could
Is
make
it
of it. I
still
don't know
there?
if you could see anything else."
It is still there, yeah.
Callum would like to check it.
Looks like blood to me.
See,
Do medicine check or investigation, whichever you prefer.
I would greatly prefer medicine. Not that greatly, apparently.
You confirm that it is, and you know you could maybe just like a little bit on the corner. You can kind of like take a fingernail and scratch, and you can see that it comes off in flakes like dried blood. So I mean, you can see that it's just it's a reddish brown color but it's with your medicine knowledge, it dried dark enough that you can say that there's a bit of iron in this blood because
Yep, that's
Getting
what's
that
in
rusty
blood.
color.
well it's just that the darker the dried blood would be, the more iron would be in the blood. Because anemic people have very light colored dry blood.
Oh, true.
I know this because my sister used to get really bad nosebleeds, and she was anemic, and like any time there was dried blood, it was always like a really pale red instead of like dark. Whereas my dad, he had so much iron in his blood, his blood would almost dry black.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, it was a problem actually. He had too much iron in his blood. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll point out also the tracks, and just say, you could tell that they're somewhat fresh. I just don't know how long or which way they were going last. But again, we didn't want to go in without at least everyone knowing at least where we were going.
do you mind if I have a quick look?
I will move out of the way.
Yeah. How close do you want to get, Arvid?
Well, now that I'm here, I can probably do the little steps myself.
Okay. I'll put you down.
Thank you. I'll head on over across and I'll crouch down and just get a detailed look at the tracks.
Yep, investigation.
Okay, advantage.
You have auto advantage, right? because of your
Yep.
race? All right, I was gonna say I'll help you if not.
I mean, you with a 20. I mean, Griswold had a 24 on his investigation. I mean, you can confirm what he saw is that you do imagine that this is relatively recent. You would estimate probably within a week at the most. From what you can tell, it does appear to be a single set. I mean, there's back and forth, but it does appear to be at least a single set of tracks, as the tracks themselves or the footprints themselves are the same size. The tread of the shoe appears to be the same.
Is there a way to determine from at least the prints a species, or whether it's like human, elf, whether it's dwarf, orc, like female, or like lighter step, heavier step?
Yeah, I mean, like the general size of the foot, you would assume is probably male, and the shape of the foot is humanoid, so likely a
Elf,
a
human,
right?
this, that. Okay.
You could assume that if you had to wager, you probably would guess human, because elves would tend to step lighter just by their nature.
Well, I can confirm what Griswold has pointed out, but we're probably looking at a human male, judging by the actual imprint.
Is Ragnar? Would you be with us yet, or did you fall on your ass?
I assume she can make herself down.
I'll look when you're getting closer. I'll say, did the man that we followed last night, did he leave yet, or did you not see?
Oh, and she looks over where he is.
You don't see him.
Oh, he's gone.
Must have left sometime, either early in the morning or when we were watching the door. So, I don't know. All right. Well, but now that we are all here, I can look at the door, see if there's any way to open it quietly, and if not, Signe, we may need you to just brute force it.
Sure.
All right. Can I investigate the door to see if there's any trick to opening it?
Yes.
Right. Is anyone proficient in investigation to aid me?
No, but I can guide you from a distance.
Okay. Yeah, I will. You know what? This is. Before I even do this, I'm going to look to Callum and say, is Thanatos known for any sort of magic, arcane, dark magic, anything like that?
I mean, he is a god of the dead, but I believe not in particular to my knowledge.
Just perhaps to be safe, everyone else may want to take a step back in case there's any sort of magic on this when I'm looking at it.
Callum just nods, takes a step back.
Sure you don't want me as a shield?
I'd rather you be able to carry my corpse away and get me help if it ever so happened.
Okay. Really wasn't what I expected. But yeah, okay, I can do that.
All right. So I will look.
Wow.
Not that it matters.
So, I mean, you can see that there is the door appears to be a flat slab of stone, essentially. I mean, you can see that there is a faint stone archway as well, but it does look like, again, that this is obviously not like what the original door was for. So you push on, you can kind of like feel around, and it feels extremely solid. So obviously you would assume that one of two things happens: either this door slides to the left or the right, or it pushes in to open. It's also possible that it might go down or up. Conceivably, you assume probably not up. Based on
Is there any like is there anywhere like you could put your hand to get it, like to get a grip to be able to push it to the side?
There is not. It is flat across.
All right.
And with your 1 on investigation, 13 total, nothing really jumps out at you. It's like
It's not
you
like
don't
mechanical jumping out at me or anything.
no.
Shit. All right. Griswold's going to turn and just say, it'd be easier perhaps if this was the original door, but it appears that if someone may have just taken a stone slab and blocked the pathway, I don't know how to open it, and I'm not strong enough.
Okay. I'm gonna, as long as Arvid's okay, move up and I guess I'll investigate the door to
I will
see
give
if-
her the idea of, like how you said it could either be pushed back or to the sides or something like that, but other than that, I'm just backing away.
Yeah, I'll just see if it moves in any direction. In, out, up, down, left, right. Is that investigation,
Yeah,
strength?
do investigation first, and then you can do strength after. So we kind of know how good you are at deciding which direction you
11.
think. Yeah. So then do strength to see if you can figure out any
Straight
movement.
strength or like athletics?
That'd be for strength.
Oof.
It does not move.
Ragnar will walk over and be like, "Oh, let me try. I think I can help."
Well, it didn't do this. At least not when I tried.
Okay, let me try another way.
This is true Critical Role style, having doors defeat people.
Ragna puts her hand through the door.
To go with that, do an investigation check so we can determine like.
I will help
What
her if
direction?
she's
What-
asks. Well, actually, I already said I was backing up.
That was bad.
Further cementing that she just removes it from the hinges.
You with your strength, you kind of like put your shoulder into it to like try and push on it. It does not appear that the door is gonna open inward. You kind of like get your fingers underneath the bottom of it and try and like do a little squat, trying to like lift it up a little bit. And with a 23, you get maybe a little bit of movement, and then it kind of like stops, as if there is something that is stopping it. Is not. You get the impression that there's more to it than just the weight that is keeping it from moving. So you imagine that this thing probably does go up, but for two things. One being the fact that it's obviously heavy, and the fact that you're getting a little bit of resistance, not just like, oh man, this is heavy. You imagine that there is some sort of mechanism that is holding this in the place that it's in.
Ragnar will kind of give a huff and look back at Griswold and say, "There's something like stopping it up there," and she points.
So it was going up.
Maybe. Yeah,
Have a look.
I'll have a look. But I'm not going to investigate the door. I'm going to investigate the archway.
Okay. So you can see that the archway is made up of, they're not really bricks because they're not rectangular shaped, but they're kind of I don't know how to describe it, but they're made of stone, and you can see that they do sort of sit up on each other and then kind of go into that little sort of Roman arch, and there is like a keystone up at the top, but on the bottom right hand side of what it would essentially be like, for lack of a better term, the second brick up, you're able to sort of slide it open a little bit, like pull it out a little bit, and you can see that behind it there is a small little hole. Not enough to get, it's not big enough to put your like fist through it, but you imagine you could probably get a few fingers in there.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put a couple of things in and just like try and pull a catch.
So you put your hand in there, or some fingers in there, and you actually feel like a little bit on the inside of the right side. There's a little bit of a indentation where you could like push.
Oh, okay. Can one of the two sisters put your fingers in here and push, please?
Oh, I can do that.
And I'll just walk back up the small steps and just sit on a stone.
Yep, Ragna will go and push the indentation.
Yeah.
So, as part of Ragna's, are you wearing like plate gauntlets?
They're in the image, so I would say yes.
So are you going to try and put your hand in there, or are you going to take your gauntlet off?
She will see if she can reach with just her fingers, and if she can't, she will take it off.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to get your hand in there with the gauntleted fingers. But you are. If you put your otherwise, if you take it off and put your hand in there, you do actually feel what he was talking about.
Yep, she will push.
And as Sam so rightfully put in Discord, you feel from the other side of the hole, like something sharp actually pierces your hand, and it almost goes all the way through, and so you are bleeding profusely at this point.
I know winces and pulls back her hand.
Oh.
The fuck?
I mean, Callum will just immediately, someone's bleeding, just step up, be like, let me take a look at that.
I guess it was booby trapped.
Take a little.
Griswold's going to kind of look and just say, or perhaps it needs blood to open?
Tell you what it needs is a good beating.
Oh, please don't break the mechanism. I'm fine.
Callum,
You're bleeding. That's
gonna
clearly
say-
not fine.
I've bled
Callum,
before.
like, has Ragnar's hand. Any signs of, like, poisons, foreign objects, things like that?
Do a medicine check.
Cool. Man. That's okay.
14 is good.
Callum, you have a stick. Use your stick.
So I will say, in combination of these two things, so I will say first, when Griswold says that, Arvid, I'll let you keep your investigation, but when Griswold says maybe you need blood, you go, okay, wait. So you go and you go back to looking at the arch. Callum, you notice that there probably is a little bit of like metal particles. It looks like a bit of rust. You imagine that the whatever jabbed her hand or her fingers are probably, I mean, it's probably not a you know a
Tetanus
super
City.
clean. Yeah, exactly. It's not like that whatever it is, it was not exactly sitting there in pristine condition.
Nothing actively malicious, it seems, but certainly chances for some injury. Just
Oh,
a moment.
it's fine. I have some lingering magic from Arathis. I won't get sick.
All right.
Yet.
You're sure?
Yes.
Well, I'm not. You should get that looked at by a professional.
No, wrap it up for now so it doesn't bleed on things.
Arvid, you notice
Callum just kind of looks at Signe when she says that.
I mean, you're kind of a professional. You're not exactly a doctor, but
Gotta take that rogue level for expertise in medicine.
Arvid, you notice that the opposite side, the same level, the that you can also move that little brick, that stone, and as you pull that one out, it slides out. It doesn't come out like the other one did. It like slides out, and there does appear to be like a receptacle in there.
Ragnar, would it okay to put a drop of your blood in that?
Oh, yes, of course. And she will kind of squeeze her hand to let some blood drip onto the receptacle.
Okay. It would go in the receptacle. Are you gonna leave it there? Are you gonna push it back into place? What do you want to do?
Yeah, Ragnar will push it back in.
All right. So when you do that, you do hear the keystone above it will click, and then the door will slowly start to rise up, and you notice whether or not this is intentional or is just old or doesn't work properly, the door actually kind of catches in about halfway up and stops, and then you can hear sort of a clicking sound, like a clock almost.
Probably we want to go through quick, and then I'll wrap my hand.
Yeah,
I will head in.
same.
Also, we know Allie is back at the Queen's. I can't remember what I called it.
Wasn't it like reserve?
Respite,
remember
or
either.
I don't remember what it was. Doesn't matter. The Queen something. She's back at the inn. And where is Aster? Is the wolf with you, or is she back with Allie?
I think
the
we
Queen's
had her
rings, not
protect Allie.
Okay. So then everybody else. I mean, is everybody just ducking in and into the?
Yep, Ragna would be.
Yeah, seems like it, yes.
That's where the others are going. That's where Callum's going.
All right.
Yeah, Signe ducks after. Ragna, I really wish you'd let me do all the bleeding.
But I'm immune to illness, so it's fine.
It's not fine. It's for to protect you.
Ragna pats her arm. You can protect me in a fight.
You know that's not the same, and Dad would be disappointed in me.
No. I don't think he would be. I mean, he did leave you a sword.
Axe.
Axe, that's what I meant.
You need a bed rest.
Sharp weapon.
Certain that piercing device wasn't poisoned in some way?
Well, I'm not immune to poison, so we'll see.
Yeah, now you just get like a deadpan stare and a very like kind of hand back to your face, just kind of studying you, making sure you are actually okay.
I assume Ragna feels fine.
You don't feel any effects. I mean, it hurt. It definitely hurt, that piercing of your hand, but you don't feel diseased or anything. Tetanus doesn't work that fast. No.
Really, I feel fine. I'll let you know if I feel any different.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's probably maybe 10, 15 seconds that you had that clicking sound, and then the door, it doesn't like crash down or anything like that. It does essentially, as it was clicking, it was dropping, and then it hits the ground, and as it does, it is absolutely pitch black.
I cast light.
Okay,
Ragna will also cast light.
so it is bright and shiny in there now.
Yeah, I'll cast it on Sigma's axe.
Ragna
Oh,
will
thank
just
you.
cast it on herself for now.
Because some
It
of
is
us
true.
can see in the dark.
Most of us can see in the dark.
Signa is the only one who can't see in the dark right now.
Yeah, rub it in.
So in this, you appear to be in a small. I mean, it's almost like a hallway. Where you are right now is not. It's not like a room or anything like that. So from where the door is, there appears to be like a hallway tunnel, sort of going to your left. To your right, there's nothing. So like essentially where the door was. There's a wall on your right hand side as you're entering in. So there's really only one way to go, which is to your left. And it appears to be a very long, and based on those of you that can see, that have dark vision, it looks like the hall starts at the end, starts to curve. But in here, it's very, very damp. You get a very strong sort of like moss and mildewy smell, and there appears to be a little bit, not where you're standing, but like further down the hall. There appears to be a little bit of like the floor is in pieces, so there is a bit of stone floor, but then it is like broken up, and there's like little bits of water standing. Nothing deep or anything like that, but it's damp in here, and you sort of understanding where you're getting that smell, and you can see on the walls there's the moss and things like that. But it is not pleasant in here at the moment. You imagine that there, as Ragnar was looking for windows, you imagine there's not a whole lot of ventilation in this place.
Old must and vegetation.
Can Regna make a nice smell with her prestidigitation? That's what I was trying to.
Kind of like little smelling salt things where you just like put a little something under your nose to like.
Yep. That's what she'll do.
Practically looks like a crypt in the middle of the city.
You guys can do like investigations if you kind of want to look at the architecture of where you are.
Yay!
There it is.
Signa can't see very well, even with the light, you know.
It's a wall, maybe.
Yeah. So it looks like this was at least originally part of whatever ruin this was. At first, you thought maybe this was sort of like a maybe like a cellar of something like that. But looking at it now, you imagine this is probably not, considering this very, very long hallway. If it was a cellar, there probably would have just, you would have gone down the stairs and then you'd be in a big open room, which is not where you are. So this makes you think that this might have been kind of an escape route or something like that from like whatever main part of this, you know, ruin would have been. Because the where you are, you would probably have to walk single file. You might be able to go side by side down this tunnel, but I mean, like with Ragna in her armor, you probably wouldn't be able to stand next to her. But again, it looks like this was nearly, if not just as old as the ruins. And then also looking at the inside of the or the backside of the door, it does become clear that this was not originally part of the setup here. You can see that like where the door goes up, you can see that like it has to go up, and where it slides up into like what is essentially the ceiling. You can see that it has sort of like been haphazardly sort of carved out of the ceiling. It does not look like it was part of the original setup. So but you can't see where you're going specifically. You just see a very long hallway.
Did you say it seems to slope downward?
It does slope a little bit downward, but you, more than anything, the reason that there appears to be like water and stuff is that the pathway is broken up and falling apart. Because where you're standing, there does appear to be like a stone floor, and it is carved, so it looks like it was, you know, designed to actually be a floor and not just it's not like you're standing on a cave floor or anything like that. It has actually,
It's like clearly man-made.
Yes.
Well, here's there's only one way to go, so anyone else?
Probably, sorry, you probably also see some like sconces along the walls, you know, sort of like on both sides, like sort of separated out evenly. So there's some on the left and on the right, and then just basically set up so that you could walk down this hall with there actually being light, if you wanted to light those. But they're like, there aren't any torches in them. They're like the holders essentially that you would put like a torch in.
And there, it's very clear there's only one way to go, right?
Yes. And that does appear to be by design. It's not like it's caved in or anything like that. I mean, there is just a finished stone wall to your right, and then the only direction you can go is left.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I'll look for the tracks to see where they're going, but I'm assuming we kind of can tell where they're going.
Yes, you can.
All right. So I'll look and I'll just say, Callum, maybe me and you up front, be a little bit quiet, and we could have them follow a bit behind.
Thinking of it, Arvid, how are you doing? Do you need to be carried?
No, I'm fine, and I'm probably just as quiet as anyone, so I should be fine.
All right. I think that sounds like a fair plan.
So we'll go. I'll turn to those and say, stay maybe 30 or so feet behind us, just to give us a bit of a room for sneaking.
Okay.
And I will try to be quiet.
Callum will try to follow his lead.
I will stealth at advantage due to the boots of Elvenkind. Never mind.
Wow.
Ragna will attempt to stealth 30 feet behind the guys. Yay.
Yeah, so Callum and Griswold are silent, and the rest of you are. Sing is pretty quiet as well. Arvid and
Okay,
Ragnar, you're kind of like you're tripping a bit up on the broken floor and kind of kicking stones around.
So my plan would be to just go as quietly and slowly as possible, and just I'll ask Callum. You notice more than me, so please keep your ears open just in case.
And yeah, Callum's just listening, watching as he goes, but also just trying to keep pace with Griswold.
And no idea what's happening, but I'm going to have my weapons ready just in case.
So yeah, you end up going down this hallway, and then you do notice that it is essentially. So again, if we're doing theater of the mind for this session because it's more fun, and I have I didn't want to have to just make a blank map of walking down
Hallway.
hallways. So very remnant. It's I feel like when if I was if we were all sitting at a table, like theater of the mind is kind of like the thing that you do, but like when you're on Roll20, it just feels like I need a map for everything. But anyway, so if you're picture again that you are when you first walk into that door and you turn to your left and start walking down that hallway, and it then starts to turn north again, so you would be essentially now facing the same direction that you were when you walked in the door, and it sort of turns around that direction, and it appears to be again going down beyond dark vision, so it's another 60 feet at least that you need to go. And from what you can tell, so far everything is the same. So it's everything looks the same. There are still like the staggered sconces on the wall that you could put torches in. The floor is still a bit broken up, but there aren't any. You see no doorways or anything like that. It is just a straight hallway. It curved that little bit, and now on another straight shot.
If I look down, do I still see other tracks ahead of us?
Do an investigation check.
Because if not, clearly we missed something.
Yeah, you would still see footprints.
Okay.
And these are a little bit easier to see because again, there's that water, so you get a little like a few muddy footprints that are going through here.
Right. Well, I keep on going.
So you continue to go forward. You can keep all your stealth rolls and everything like that. And it's probably another maybe 200 feet, and you're starting to just wonder like, what is this place? And at about 60 feet away, at the end of this hallway, because that's as far as you can see, there appears to be a door at the end of the hallway. Finally.
As we're approaching, are there any symbols or anything around it? Any like identifiers?
There is not. This does appear to be potentially an original door. This is actually like a wooden door. You don't see any sort of, elaborate things around the door. It just looks like a regular wooden door.
All right. I'll point out to it and look at Callum and say, perhaps we should have a look for any sort of traps before everyone else gets up here.
Agreed. Last thing we need is them clambering up to the door and notifying whoever or whatever's on the other side before we can open it.
All right, well, let's go then, and I will just look throughout the rest of the way best I can to make sure no one's going to step on something and have a dart come flying at him or anything.
Yeah, Callum's pretty much doing the same. He's working his way up, checking, maybe prodding a little bit with his big stick, but mostly just working his way up to the door and taking a peek at it.
For the theater of the mind, just so that you can picture this, though, it does appear a wooden door. It's not a square door. It is more of an arched. The top of it is a bit arched. Kind of goes. Actually, it's not a rounded arch necessarily. It's sort of like a conical shape. So it's a sort of a unique looking door. Of again, why you would assume that it is original. It does appear to be like of sort of an elven architectural style. It looks like, so you guys can do investigation checks to like look at the surroundings of it.
Could I use perception?
Sure. It's slightly less effective than investigation, but
That's fine. I have plus
Yeah.
7 compared to a plus 1.
So you with a perception, I mean like just looking around, you don't see anything. I would say
Yep.
say that like what you do notice is that there does appear that this door originally would have been like decorated. There appears to be some faint like gold filigree design on the wall or on the door that is since mostly worn off. With an 18 investigation, it doesn't look like there are any traps. You don't see any exposed holes where something would shoot out or anything like that. And looking at the door as well, it just sort of has like a ring handle on it, made of like looks like maybe iron. Which, looking at it, you assume that the handle might not be original, but there's no lock on the door. It looks like you could actually just push it open.
So it's just like pressure, push, pull type thing.
Yeah.
Then while we're like once I'm done looking, I'll just kind of wait for the rest of the group to catch up.
Well,
Yep. And
minus the invisible person.
yes.
Well, then when everyone gets there, I'm gonna guess. Where's Arvid? Did he fall? Is he okay?
Well, I didn't see him disappear, but knowing he can disappear, I assume he's disappeared.
It's like Arvid's stealth roll doesn't pass Callum's passive perception, so there's still like I think he's about there.
Yeah, a little shimmer.
There's some footprints there, I assume are his.
Well, it doesn't appear like there's any traps. There's no real markings or anything that I saw. Callum, did you see anything?
No, nothing in particular. The door looks old, but nothing of particular use.
Regna would grin at Signe. Time to open the door?
Time to open the door.
Doesn't appear to be locked.
Yeah, it's. I have no problem with you opening the door. Just try to do it as quietly as possible.
Okay.
No knocking. Got it. Step forward. And
Yep.
just turn the knob. Let it swing open.
Regna will kind of help open the door so that they do it as quietly as possible.
It's there is no knob, but you are able. Basically, the door just opens. There's no. You just push on it, and it very easily starts to open. You get the. It drags a little bit because the floor is actually not entirely even anymore. So like, it's not like it. You have to push it really hard to like get it open, but it is sort of dragging a little bit at the bottom. But yeah, you are able to open the door with no problem.
Stick my head in.
Yep.
So in this, you see a square room. It's about 20 feet wide. And there is a hallway adjacent or not adjacent, but across from you as well. And you can see that there is, well, I'll take it back. What you assume is the continuation of the hallway, but there is a stone closed door at the end, or on the other side of you. And then at the center of this room, there is sort of like a large kind of diamond shaped symbol that is outlined in red. And then there is a triangle in the center. And there is nothing else that you notice in the room besides that.
Does the stone door resemble the one we came in?
It does.
And does the symbol like it's like a religious symbol that Ragna can think of?
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm tired. Can you repeat what was in the room? I heard the door, and then what was the thing in the center?
A
So there
diamond with
are-
a triangle in it.
Yeah.
I-
So like
Okay.
a large diamond shape, and these appear to be like painted on the floor. So it's a large diamond shape, and then inside of that diamond there is a red triangle. You could do a religion check to see if you recognize anything.
Yeah.
Ragna does not.
Let's see if Callum does any better.
Oh,
Good
boy.
lord, he actually rolled well on religion for once.
Callum, you have seen symbols like this. It is not specifically a religious symbol. It is actually more of a, how to describe it? More of like a totem symbol of like hedge witches.
Hmm.
So again, at the very least, you're like, that's not original. At least,
Yeah.
the symbol's not.
That is an interesting marking.
Does it mean anything in the context of Thanatos?
No, it's something I've come across before. Some of the people within the circle knew of them.
They knew of
It's-
triangles.
It's an arcane symbol of sorts. It's related to like hedge mages and such.
Oh, I wonder what
Wizards that
it's
live in
doing in here.
trees? Are those just wizards that live in trees? What is a hedge
Uh,
mage?
no, a hedge mage is. Does Callum actually know what a hedge mage is? That's a good question.
I mean, with the 21, we'll say that you have a general idea of what they are, yeah.
It's mages who are not. They don't conform to a lot of the typical teachings of the arcane art. They frequently interact with the druid circles. They are practitioners of the arcane, but not properly studied, sort of self-taught in a lot of cases.
And they study a lot of like old magic, things that wouldn't be taught at the Nexus School of the Arcane.
It is often considered to be adjacent to druidism, which is the only reason I recognize it.
Are they typically nefarious? Are they good?
They come in all sorts. I've only interacted with those who are mostly benevolent, but that's could just be a selection bias from where I met them.
Right. Well, then be careful approaching. Let's. If it is magic, there's always a chance for some sort of surprise to pop out.
Agreed.
So can we go in and just look around the rest of the room, make my way to the door, and give it a look to see if it's pretty much the same thing as the last one?
Yeah, go ahead and do investigation and perception checks. Whatever people want to do.
Yeah, well, he's doing that. Callum's checking out the symbol on the floor a little closer. What is it painted in?
Unlike the symbol outside, this does appear to be actual paint. This doesn't appear to be blood. It is red, but it doesn't appear to be blood.
Okay.
So it does appear to be red paint. And looking at it, so overall investigation, you can determine that there's nothing else in this room. The stone wall or the stone door on the opposite side, like the entranceway, does not appear to be original. You imagine that the original probably was the same as the door you just came in. But you, looking at it closely, you can see that the symbol actually appears to be a pressure plate.
The one in the middle of the room.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll walk back over to Callum as he's like inspecting it and stuff, and I'll just say, step on that, please. I have an idea. I think it'll connect with the door.
Are you? Oh, it does. You sure stepping on it's wise?
Oh,
You want me to come step on it?
I can also step
Calls
on
from
it.
the doorway. You've been stabbed enough today.
well, actually, all right, you know what? I'm gonna just put my foot on it, and I want to see, Matt, if it like I'm gonna like tap on it because I want to see if it like starts to open and then stops as soon as the pressure's off, or if it just still opens all the way. So I'm gonna do like one quick step and push down.
Do you put all your weight on it?
Like I push one foot into it and like push it, seeing if I could make it go down, and then once I feel it, like the pressure, like once I feel it like indent, I take my foot off and see what happens.
If you're just putting your foot on there, you don't notice anything. It does not depress.
Okay. I'll kind of look at everyone and just say, "All right."
Yeah, I'll
And
come join you. And come over
I'll
and
put both feet on it.
yeah.
So if you stand on it completely, you'll notice that the door does react to it. You feel yourself sink a little bit, and it goes up a tiny fraction, and then Signe, when you step on it, it goes up a little bit more.
Ragnar will step on it too.
And then it'll go up a little bit more. But again, there is no way any of you can get, I mean, it is not, it's maybe, 3 inches off the
All
floor
right.
at this
So
point.
once it's like that, I'm gonna ask everyone to step off to see if it slams back down or if it stays where it is.
Yeah. So is that what you guys do?
Yep.
I ask.
Yeah. So stepping off of it, it does drop.
All right. Look around, see if you could find anything heavy.
The room does appear to be empty, yes?
I mean,
It
we
does.
can go back the way we came and look for like a big rock.
I want to just test something quickly, if you don't mind. Would you three mind standing on it again?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care.
I go get on.
It only lifts up like a few inches, you said?
Yep.
Callan will go over to the door that's open like a few inches and take out one of his sling bullets and set it underneath. It says, if one at a time you want to get off, I'm curious how much force this thing has closing.
Yep. Okay, Ragnar gets off.
Okay. So yeah.
I'll wait a second and get off, and then yeah.
And as you progressively do that, it starts to slow down, and then it just crushes that stone.
Ooh.
You sure that wasn't your sending stone?
Callum quickly checks through his pockets, sticks his fingers through his few holes, but nope, got it here.
Still have your rocky talkie.
Nice.
Surprisingly, yes.
All good.
Ragnar's gonna go look in the water behind them. There was like water that they were tripping over, right?
Well, there's a little bit of standing water because the pathway is broken.
Okay, Ragnar's gonna look for a big rock.
You can do an investigation check. Yeah, you find some bits of with a little bit of work, you feel like you might be able to get up some of the sort of the flagstones that are on the ground. Um,
Right now,
I mean,
we'll bring them over and try to put them on the thing.
you probably are gonna have to dig a little bit because they're not just like laying flat. Like they're pretty heavy as well. So it's probably a team effort would be required to get some of these paving stones essentially out of the ground.
Yeah. Regna will call over. Signe, come help me with these rocks.
Oh, absolutely.
So while they are attempting to dig up some stones, what is everybody else doing?
I'll help him do the same.
I
All
have
the
an
days.
idea. I'm just looking at something.
Of all the days to leave our metal man and his horse behind.
Yeah, I wonder how much he weighs.
Arvid, I believe, haven't I seen you do magic before to turn yourself to mist or some such thing?
GM,
Yes.
I would like to stand on the pressure plate,
Okay.
and as he does, he blows smoke surrounding his body until he's fully covered, and then, all of a sudden, you see a warhorse.
Aha! You have used your wild shape.
Yes, I have turned into at least a 1,200-pound warhorse.
So, when you do this, so when you step on there, you notice that it goes up a little bit, like an inch or so when you step on there as your elven self, and when you change, the door doesn't move anymore than it did when you weighed, 100 pounds or however much you weigh.
So it's not we.
Interesting.
It's just got to be all of us.
Well, that's rude.
Perhaps.
Everyone hop on just to give it a look.
Regna will just toss a rock to the side and be like, okay.
And I should also, as you're doing this, clarify the distances from where you are. So, the in the center of the room, you are about 20 feet from either door. So when you're standing on that plate, the door that you're coming from is about 20 feet behind you, and the door that you're trying to go through is about 20 feet ahead of you. So even the fastest of you would have a hard time covering distance. But is everybody going to step on the plate?
Yes.
Yeah, Callum will do his best to be like he's on it and it's fully, but he is absolutely ready if this thing like drops out from underneath us or something to bail.
Yep.
So, yes, when you all are standing on it, the door opens in its entirety. Takes it a moment. Again, this thing looks extremely heavy, but it does raise up, and you can see that there does appear to be a hallway behind it. You can't see anything beyond, but
Griswold's gonna look to everyone and just say, "Stay still for 1 second." And if I take a step off, does it like go almost back to closed?
it's the second that you take any of your weight off of it, it slams to the ground. I mean, just instantly, and it's loud too.
All right.
Wow. That's a bit of a predicament.
Perhaps we can get several person-shaped rocks? Person-weighted rocks?
Were the rocks doing anything, Matt? Was that making it go up?
I don't think they ever got the rocks onto it.
Yeah, they
Nope.
didn't.
Okay, then let's try it. Yeah.
I will dehorse.
I don't know, you could drag some pretty good rocks as a horse.
Maybe, but I don't have opposable thumbs.
We have rope. She pats his shoulder. I didn't realize you can turn into a horse.
I can.
Oh, wait, no. I think I've seen that before.
I turned into a unicorn, or no, turned into a horse that looked like a unicorn.
Well, no point just standing around. Callum will help with the rocks.
But will not.
Callum is still strength drained, I think, so he's not a lot of help with the rocks, but he's a little help.
At this point, it's been we're establishing it's been at least 14 days. It's been
Okay.
2 weeks, so both you and Arvid are back to your full strength at this point.
Then
Which is
I
still
will.
not saying a lot for Arvid. I mean, you're not exactly strong anyway, but
I mean, I got an 11.
yeah, that's not bad for a druid. But so if you're attempting to put stones on there, I mean, again, I'm not gonna do any checks or anything like that. Eventually, you guys do. It'll take a little bit of time, but eventually, you're able to get a few stones. And if you put them on there, it does if you put it onto the plate first without anybody else stepping on it, it will move up a little bit. Depending on, I guess it really just depends on how much weight, how many of them you're putting onto the pressure plate.
I mean, if one goes on and it moves, Callum's gonna try more.
Ragna is specifically looking for 5 person-sized boulders to drag over.
There really wouldn't be anything like that. So what you're looking at would be essentially slabs. So you're looking at sort of like square tiles essentially, but they're probably maybe a couple of feet thick.
Okay.
And so you're able to sort of like drag them, and bits of them would probably be a little bit broken. Probably weigh about 100 to 150 pounds each.
Well, I'll try to help best I can to get 5 of them on the thing.
I would say the first one goes on, you said it moves a little bit. As we keep adding more, does it keep going up?
It would.
Then, yeah. As a thought, Callum stops moving rocks. People can keep moving rocks. He's just thinking.
Yep. Ragna will keep moving rocks.
Callum was going to take out another one of his sling bullets and set it on the little thing.
Would not make any difference.
Okay. Then he will put it back in his pack and go back to helping move rocks.
So, if you put 5 of those slabs on there, you're talking probably between 500 and 600 pounds of weight that you're putting on this thing. And the door does start to move up, but it does not open completely.
So
Is it like
enough to scoot?
Yeah, crawl?
No, it's still too low for that. So it goes up essentially about an inch. Like when you guys stood on it, it was probably about 5 inches off the ground. And then I guess it was about 4 inches off the ground when 4 of you were on there. And then when the 5th person stepped on it, it opened all the way. So it's not like it's opening like in larger and larger increments as you add the weight to it.
Signe and Ragnar, could you both jump on the plate too?
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, so when the 2 of you step on there with the stone slabs, it would open all the way.
All right. Well, stay there. Callum, want to help me see if there's anything on the other side to keep it open?
Sounds like a good idea.
Right. Wait. So Arvid is no longer invisible either, right?
No.
Because he changed? Okay. Yeah, I'll ask you to come help us look as well.
Alright, I'll head in and I'll try to find some hidden switches.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Or I want to at least look for something that I could fit in the doorway that would maybe hold it.
Investigation checks.
Let's
Alright.
see.
Ooh, good.
21.
Yeah. You do see a very similar. This doesn't have a covering on it. There does appear to be another hole with a switch in it.
I'll
Griswold.
I'll do it.
Go for it.
Hand in.
So in this one, as it happens, you kind of imagine that this was a joke in a sense. You do not get stabbed. What happens? So you feel the pressure plate again. It's on the right hand side. As you sort of like press the button down, the stone. There's like a massive, like almost like a hammer blow. The stone, a stone like slides in and actually breaks your fingers. But you hear a click as you do that, and then the door sort of stops into place. But you do have essentially 2 broken fingers at this point.
Yep, that's fine.
So you get the idea that this was just kind of a haha, I'm not going to stab you this time. I'm just going to snap your fingers in half.
Stop following me.
But yeah, the door does. So if Signe and Ragnar get off of the pressure plate, the door does not drop.
Hey, the door's
now?
open.
Oh, that looks like it hurts.
Oh no.
You need to splint those now, unless you want them to heal that way.
I can take care of broken bones, don't worry.
Oh, okay. As Signe jogs up and see how his fingers are just completely fucked. I have arrows.
I have cloth.
Yeah, she takes an arrow and snaps it in half.
Don't worry,
one
I
for you.
can heal this myself. It's not that difficult.
You do know you have to pull those straight first, right?
No, I have a little thing called magic.
Yeah. You wanted him to heal him the wrong way, right?
No, it'll replace it how it's supposed to.
Okay. I don't know. Normally we just get full of holes, and like I can understand how magic would do that. I just, bones not being in the right place. I don't know.
No, I can heal it. It's just going to, well, really fucking hurt.
Well, you already look like you're really fucking hurt.
Yes, but they broke. I now have to heal them and re-break or unbreak them back into place.
Oh boy. Okay.
So we can continue, or we can do it while we walk.
All right. Well, Matt, you said that this goes into another hallway, right?
Yes.
Well, same as before. Callum and me up front. You 3 a little bit back.
Sounds good.
Agreed.
I'll just waste the first little spell slot of cure wounds and just they'll hear the bones just snap back in. It's like,
Does cure wounds fix broken fingers?
I don't fucking know.
I don't think it clarifies.
It increases your health, but I didn't hear you take any damage, so I don't know if it works.
Good point. It's actually very vague. What cure? It just says you get this many hit points back.
Well, to be
But
to be fair, people get stabbed and slashed a lot, yet you somehow magically knit themselves back up.
Yeah. I mean, you imagine that somebody getting hit with a sledgehammer or something like that and breaks their bones, and cure wounds will heal them. I didn't have a roll because I mean it probably would have been like 1 or 2 points of damage or something like that. So you're fine.
Just a lovely sound of bones snapping.
Well, time to be quiet again.
So stealth
Yeah,
rolls.
really gross.
Uh, 21.
So Ragna's stumbling and then like having her armor scrape against the side of the wall, you know.
Whoopsie.
And yeah, again, I'm just going to be quiet, listening, looking, moving.
So you guys start to travel down this hallway, and it appears to be fairly long as well. But as you get maybe 100, 120 feet away from the room that you just came from, it's like a wall of smell hits your faces, and this is the most putrid. I mean, if you'd like to, if you think your character would have a problem, you can do Constitution saving throws because this is a this is like feces and rotten meat, and it is thick. It's
Uh,
almost like I would describe the smell as almost being like humidity. Like it is like in the air, like you can feel it around you.
does Ragna's prestidigitation smelling salts help?
Probably not.
Okay. Y'all at the front will not get help from Ragna because it's out of 10 feet range, but Ragna will also do a con save. Okay, Ragna rolled 15.
I'll give it a go. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Arvid and Griswold, you two are. I mean, you. I'll let you
Well, I'm
decide.
thinking if I vomit, it's going to make it smell better. So
Well,
I'm
I mean
happy with
that's the thing.
this.
I'll let you guys decide if you want to, but if you feel like it's appropriate, you would vomit. You are at the very least feeling like you need to vomit
Mm-hmm.
because it is a violent smell. Signe's like I've been here before. Shit and blood and rotten meat. I got this.
What's the matter? Y'all look like you haven't been on a battlefield before.
Yeah, I think.
My smelling salts seem to be helping at least a little.
Yeah.
This is a bit much even for my medical backgrounds.
No, I can't. Let's keep moving. And he's just going to start moving a little bit faster through all this shit. Pull his like cloak up above his nose and kind of like make a makeshift mask.
Yeah, that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's another probably 50 feet till you get to what is sort of the end of this hallway, and then it turns to the right. And as you sort of look around this corner, you can see that there are two rooms and essentially a dead end. So as you would turn to your right and you're facing down this sort of new sort of like essentially looking at an L shape that you were in the long part of the L, and then to your right is a little short hallway here, and there's a door to the left and the right, um, and then the end of the hallway. And then this, unlike before, does appear that there's been I don't want to say a collapse, but like you can see that the hallway has been closed off. It looks purposely closed off. There's looks like again very heavy like rock boulders and stuff. Um, but there are two rooms as well, and you um, can very clearly tell that the smell is being generated from one or both of these rooms.
Ragna will glance in the room on the right.
Also, just do everybody do, if you want to, investigation checks or perception checks in this little bit of the hallway here.
I'll do perception.
It's going to be mostly obvious, so this is not super imperative that you roll high on this, but
31.
yeah. So everybody but Ragna
Mhm.
did pretty well. But you notice that the floor, you can see it between the rooms. Um, there is just blood streaks across the floor, on the floor between. So it's and then you can see that even sort of around the rocks that are covering the closed off area. They're like bits of like blood and potentially pieces of meat or something. But yeah, this is not pleasant.
I mean,
Uh,
we know that some of the goings on in this city. If there's bits of meat, Callum's going over there with some of his shirt like bunched up over his face and inspecting this without touching it to see if he can tell what it might be.
you can do a medicine check.
Sure.
So at least what you see out here, there's not enough really to determine exactly. Obviously, this is a mammal of some kind, but what is here is too sort of rotten and deteriorated to tell exactly what it is.
No telltale bits of skin or
No, I mean this does appear to
bones.
be just essentially uncooked meat. So it could be, it could be a humanoid, it could be a pig, it could be,
Fair.
you can't quite tell.
I have a sinking suspicion we may have found our mystery killer, or at least his hideout.
The two doors that you see actually are similar to the door that you saw, the elven door. One of them is, well, they both appear to be locked. One of them appears to be very locked. The other one just appears to be a sort of a regular sort of lock. So the door on the left appears to be kind of a regular, just I'm locking my door type of thing, and the one on the right appears to have multiple sort of complex locks on it.
If we're looking at the doors and stuff, can we see which way the blood is being dragged? Like, does it look like this room is where he does this, and then he drags the bodies over here?
It probably looks like less of like bodies being dragged. You sort of get the impression that this is there's just blood that's being sort of, I guess you can see like someone covered in blood
Oh,
walking back
okay.
and forth. So it doesn't look like a drag mark. There's just drops
Okay.
of blood, but it's happened enough times that it's just made the floor just covered in blood.
All right.
You don't necessarily see drag marks.
All right. Well, this door, and I'll point to the one that you said was difficult. This lock is very advanced. I could try it. The other one appears to be more of a standard lock, so I should be able to do that no problem. But uh, what is our plan here? I, I'm assuming we want to capture and take to the. There's no authorities here.
We interrogate?
I will also say because some of you did perceptions and not investigations. Those of you that did perception checks, there's no. You're somewhat still distracted by the smell, but it is silent in here.
I know you guys are preoccupied with the smell, but have you noticed the lack of sound?
No, I didn't notice.
We did start off gradually sloping down. Perhaps we've gotten below street level by this point. In fact, I would think we must have, given the size of the area we've explored and the buildings above.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, with this much meat around, you think there'd be like rats or like chittering bugs?
I would assume whatever's causing that smell is killing anything trying to eat it.
Just kind of chuckles.
Two doors, one easy, one hard. Which anyone feel lucky? Want to choose?
Start with the easy door.
I agree.
All right.
Do you mean the one of which I am a key?
At the very least, the hard one should take longer to open if there's something else down here.
All right. I will go up to the easy door and give it a shot, Matt.
Yep.
Do I need to
guide.
re-roll to check if there's a trap or anything?
Nah, you're fine. It does not appear to be trapped.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guided it as well, so let's see if we can make it a 40. God damn it.
Almost.
39.
Why didn't you have me do the hard one first?
Yeah. So yeah, it's like that was like one of the first kind of locks that you learned how to pick when you were learning how to do this. It's a very very simple lock. Probably only like 3 pins total, and just click click click, easy peasy. Door opens up. Um, Looking in, there is no light in this room, and again, there are no windows in here either. Um, the You imagine that this is not the room that the smell is emanating from. It does not hit you any harder as the door opens up. It is a somewhat small room. It's probably maybe 15 by 20. Um, there is like a small cot in there. And then you can see a table that has there's like candles and things like that, and there appear to be like a number, probably over 15 like notebooks that are like sort of stacked up. There is sort of like so there's like trash sort of everywhere, and then you can see if it's difficult to see with dark vision, but when the lights that people have cast, I'm assuming you're recasting that as you're going along. There is insane writing all over the walls. There's like symbols, and there is like just ranting and raving, just crazy stuff. Just some of it is like, and it's all different forms. So like some of it is like scratched into the walls. Some of it appears to be like, just like regular sort of ink. Some of it is like just paint, but it's all disturbing.
And Ragna look around, like go
Yeah.
inside and look around and see if there's any religious symbolism specifically to Thanatos.
I'm going straight for the notebooks.
Given that the writing implements are different, is it possible to tell if they're all the same handwriting?
That's probably an intelligence roll.
That's fair. Hard to say.
It is hard to say. I will say that at first glance, anyway, it does appear to be similar. Like it's not strikingly, it it's not strikingly obvious that it's different. I'll put it that way. It's difficult to say 100%, but it doesn't jump out at you as a, oh my god, you can tell that this is not the same.
Callum's a healer, not a calligraphy expert.
Yeah. So as far as symbolism, you would probably see a couple of instances of the inverted cross or the inverted torch, inverted cross. We're not going to Antichrist here. Inverted torch, but it is like scraped out. It's like it was put on the wall and then it was scraped off, or at least scratched out to some degree. You do see a few more of this sort of similar um, arcane symbols that would be what Callum recognized as being related to sort of witchcraft type of things, hedge witches and that type of thing, the old magic, so to speak. Um, the notebooks are a continuation of the craziness on uh, the walls. It would take you all some time if you wanted to actually go through to try and find some sort of coherence, and you can do that if you'd like, but
I will look at everyone and I'll just say, just glancing, I can't really make much out of this. Do you want to stay for a bit and give it a look, or should we just pack them up and take them with us?
I think we try the other door before we disturb anything.
Yeah, let's take them with us. Let's not spend a lot of time there.
Right. Well, I had no problem with this lock. I'm sure the next one will be just as easy.
Guidance.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be a 1.
22. Yeah. So
23.
Okay. So yeah, it takes you a bit longer, and there are 3 separate locks on this one. Some of them are just the regular sort of pin-based ones, and there are other ones that have like sliding mechanisms that are a little bit more complicated. Some of them are more like you can tell that one of them is like a dwarven lock, which are significantly more complicated than your general sort of like padlock type of thing. So it takes you a little bit of time, but you are able to get it open. And of course, as the door opens, you are immediately, this is where that smell's coming from. And holy crap, it hits you even harder than it did before. And as the door opens, it is, I mean, it is a horror show in this room. The floor is essentially, it looks like it's been painted because there's so much blood that it is, you can't see anything underneath it. I mean, it is just completely covered in blood, dried blood. So there's no, you can't see the stone underneath it. It is all colored. And there are 2 tables in the center of the room, and then along the walls there's a little bit of the sort of crazy sort of like scratchings into the wall, but nothing like it was in the other room. But you can see there's like a board up on the wall, and there are a number of instruments of you essentially like you would assume to be sort of torture in a way. Sharp devices, blades. There are like they almost look kind of like long metal probes almost, but they're pointed at the end, so you could like basically just stab. And they, I guess, do a medicine check, Callum. See if you have any sort of recognition of some of these tools.
Sure.
Do you want advantage because I'm also proficient?
Sure, I'll take that. Let's see. Oh, right. I'm so used to the old other sheets, I have to turn on advantage. I just went to look for it. Let's see. Medicine.
Yeah, so you can see that like some of these like tubes, like this metal rod essentially that has the end, you could attach a tube to it, and essentially it's thing that you can use to like drain bodily fluids from a dead body, sort of like embalming type things and exhuming, or not exhuming, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, you can see that the one of the tables is there's nothing on it, but it is like the floor, just covered in blood. And then you see on the left-hand table where the general smell is actually coming from, which is a body that is there. It doesn't fully meet the expectation that you had of the or the rumors essentially that you heard of the bodies that had been killed by the serial killer, which had all been sliced up. This body is, you can see that it doesn't look like it's the same body. The arms and the legs and the head don't look like they originally belonged to the torso. You can see where they've all been sewn on. So the arms match and the legs match each other. So it's the 2 arms appear to be the same, and then the legs appear to be the same, but they don't look like they belong to that torso. And then the head also doesn't look like it belongs to that torso. You notice the slight uh, skin difference, the skin tone difference between them. It's a little bit harder to tell right now because the body is in a very bad state of decay at this point. But you can see it's the sutures that are holding the body parts together now. Also, you can tell that this person does not have a lot of medical training because it's very jagged. It's very, there's very thick the stitches are very thick and very far apart, so there you can tell that it's not like somebody that was trying to make sure that there was minimal scarring involved and that type of thing. But it is horrible. It is a horrible smell. It is a horrible appearance. The body itself, though, does not appear to have any of the cuts or anything like that. It just looks like it's been pieced together.
When we heard about this killer, Did we ever? I know you said that we heard he cut people up and sliced them up. Did we ever hear about them taking body parts, like an arm missing from one of the victims?
You did not hear anything about that, no.
Well,
Would a follower of Thanatos do something like this, or is this
no,
the serial killer?
neither, I don't think. Oh,
So we just stumbled upon something insane?
I. If this was looking to contact more, it would be natural death. Either they're using him as a stand-in for Nero, as we thought initially, or perhaps even attempting to get the attention of the Arrhenius. This is not. Oh.
So, this is a person when we find them, we kill.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
If
I'm not looking at
Perhaps
anyone besides Callum.
Kyle's just. He still will just. If that is our only option, yes. I still say we take them and put them somewhere, but better that than have them run free and continue this.
Arvid, you don't hear anything behind you, no.
Counterpoint, you can't escape death.
No one can. That's what I've been saying for a year or so now.
Well, you okay, bud?
It's just awful in here.
what would even be the purpose of this?
Some ritual, some sacrifice, or
Based on the scrawlings in the other room, there might not be a reason other than the person who did its head.
well, I think the best bet right now would be for us to go back to the other room, go through the notebooks, and go through the writings and such on the wall, and see if we could figure anything else out. But whoever this is has been coming and going. We need to find them.
Also, correct me if this is an illogical conclusion, Matt, but it seems like there's entirely too much blood in here for the amount of body in here, too.
Oh yeah, you get the impression that this is not the first body that's been in here, for sure.
I wonder with that walled off section, if we can get that open as well.
Well,
Do I have permission?
Signac and I can try to get it open while the rest of you investigate that room.
That would, I think, be worth pursuing.
Wait,
I agree.
do either of us have a hammer? Because it's gonna be really weird to bust through with an axe.
I have a stick.
Yeah, that's not gonna help too much, is it? No, it's okay. I still have my great axe. Yeah. Okay, back up. I want good swinging space.
You're gonna have to go back out in the hall where we saw it.
Yeah, that's fair. Go back out in the hall. Make sure there's a clearance space. Take out my great axe and start wailing on the wall.
And Ragna will. Oh,
No, I meant to just like bring it up, not actually click on the spell.
Ragna's going to use one of her javelins to try to lever stones apart.
Yeah, I don't think stone shape would work anyway, 'cause it's just a single use, not continual.
Yeah, I mean, going through there, you can move a little bit of the stones, but the javelin isn't strong enough to actually move any of the bigger ones, and an axe will. I mean, you're just gonna destroy the blade of the axe hammering into these boulders.
I mean, he's got a big
You
spike on the back.
started as an axe, and now
Well,
you are a hammer.
Her Wyvern's Bane has a spike on it, but her regular great axe would just be a bearded axe, I guess, with the two axe heads on each side.
Gotcha.
Because I assume she's not using. I assume saying that you're not using Wyvern's Bane against the rocks.
I mean, I didn't want to just fuck up my nice axe.
Yeah. So yeah, using the great, but it. I mean, you're probably creating some sparks, as the metal strikes off the stone. But
This isn't working.
They're too big the boulders are too big to break with an axe. They would probably be too big to. I mean, it would take a really long time to crack them with a hammer too.
Did we get a potion of some kind of strength in this
You
campaign,
did.
or was it a previous one?
Yep, it's this one. You have a
I
potion of
mean, yeah, but that seems like
sky,
it'd be
like
kind of a
cloud
waste
giant
of
strength
that.
or something.
Yeah, it was Cloud Giant Strength, or no, Storm Giant Strength, I think,
It
which
was like
is
a plus 26 or some dumb thing
it.
like that.
It
Yeah.
sets you to like a 29.
I think it'd be a waste to use it on a wall to possibly get at more corpses.
Yes, I suppose someone wouldn't be going through this part of the tunnel regularly. Is there any like holes between the rocks that Ryder can look through?
Nope. You get the impression that you can just sort of like moving around that there's quite a bit of rock through here.
Okay. Okay, Signe. I suppose let's just go into the room and try to help them.
Yeah, this ain't going nowhere.
There's
So
more than enough books for everybody. There's like I said, there's about 15 different notebooks.
yeah, I'm not like reading. I'm just kind of skimming.
So yeah, anybody that is reading books, I assume it's all of you, but you can do investigation checks.
Nice.
Not bad.
Not good.
12.
Callum, you were unlucky enough to get some of the creepy weird ones that don't have a lot of like understanding to them anyway. They're just like weird pictures and like rambling about stuff that don't make any sense. And the
And let's be honest, Callum is prone to start drawing conclusions to certain topics from this that may not actually be there. So he's not doing too good. He's not too helpful.
I will say that it appears to be you don't know going through it you don't notice anything different. It all appears to be written in common. So with 26 and 17 and 12 um, you do get bits and pieces of things that sort of lead you to a bit of understanding in that um, the you can kind of start to gather the sort of chronological order of the as you're sort of looking through the books and sort of the progression of this person's mind, and that at the beginning it did make more sense, and then towards the later um, it starts to become extremely unhinged. But it does seem like originally this person was attempting to, at the very least, get the attention of Thanatos. And that seemed to, in this person's mind, not worked. And what they needed to do was step up their activities. So that was, they mentioned what they were doing at first was that they were killing these people, and then they would wait some time to see if Thanatos would show up, um, and never did. So then he talks about on one occasion killing 4 people in the same night. um, and you do, as you're reading through, you get that this is the serial killer. This is the person that was slicing people up, cutting noses and ears and stuff off, and then leaving the bodies out to be found. um, and again, as this was going on, nothing was happening. And so then you start to see where it becomes disillusioned with this idea that Thanatos doesn't care. So that you get the markings of the inverted cross being wiped out, and makes mention of then you don't get a name. There's no name that is given, but it talks about essentially worshiping in a way this witch. So you can see that the alliance the allegiance has sort of changed. If Thanatos is going to pay attention, then I'm going to do this other stuff, right? And also stepping up, as is generally true with serial killers is that things you have to keep doing something more. Doing the same thing over and over again doesn't you don't get the same thrills essentially. So then it starts to, as things progress and become more and more unhinged, they become obsessed with the idea of now sort of like you see that it's like lost the initial like ideas of Thanatos and wiping out the city and all that kind of stuff, and now creating the perfection. And so now you're seeing that like I'm taking bits of different people and creating a perfect creature. So now you have your body over there where there's bits and pieces of different people put together, and you see this kind of thing where it's a you're not sure if it's a joke or if it's like a just again the insane ramblings of this person. But again, you don't get a name of the witch, but you see that he's kind of given this entity a nickname of the Stitch Witch. So you get the impression that he's now trying to impress this person, this witch, and that's where his new ventures have taken him. And the only other thing that you sort of get is that he can't stay here and that he has left. You're not sure how long this has been, but looking around the room and the fact that these are left here, you kind of get the idea that he was leaving in a bit of a hurry. And 2 places are listed. There's only two names of places that you find. One is the Isle of Orchids, and the other is the city of Tranta. I can move us to the map so you can see where those things are.
We know where they are, at least.
So the Isle of Orchids is here, and Tranta is to the north of that, up here. The Leuvenhelms and Griswold wouldn't know where Tranta is because that's where the stepmother is from. That's actually where she is right now, in fact.
Yeah.
As well as
When
your stepbrother.
Regna hears mention of Tranta, she looks at Signe with worry and says, I truly hope Mother is not in danger.
Oh yeah, we should send a letter ASAP.
There's no specific there. You get the impression that he had intentions to go to these places, but there's no realization as to why or what he was trying to accomplish at any of these things. But those are the things that were listed.
Remind me, where were we planning to head after this, and why?
Israel for a cult of the dragons. And
Vista
then
Hill.
Vista Hill for the Sunstrom, and Ariath and Ethuel for potential connections to Baba Yaga or Yaga the Unclean.
Same thing.
And Ragna is also quite shaken.
Aside from that, there's not a whole lot more that you get from these ramblings. I mean, this person is obviously crazy. No question about that. So how reliably you can depend on anything in these is questionable, but
Callum, could he be trying to get closer to the Crimson Sepulchre?
It's possible. They're both in the right direction. And that would certainly be one of the followers that would be best aligned with this notion.
Two requests. One, Can we please leave? He's clearly gone. I'd rather not be in the smell.
Yes, gladly.
Yes, let's
Uh,
go.
And two, any of you that had worthless notebooks, can I have them, please? Just, I, I don't know who that corpse is, but a body should not stay in a place like this. I'm gonna try to set a bit of a fire in that room to get rid of it.
Mm. Callum will hand over the notebook he had.
Yeah, Matt, any of them that are like useless. Like I don't want to get rid of the ones that we found good information in.
Yeah, probably the last book that you were again like they're probably dated.
Okay.
And the one that would be the last is just nonsense. There's nothing in there that
All right.
that makes any sense.
All right, yeah, I'll go in. I'll place some of the paper around as like kindling, and I'll pour some whiskey that I have in my bottle onto the table and corpse, and just kind of like not even like really bow my head, nothing like that. Just set a like torch and then drop it and start walking out, like leaving.
Okay. I will say too, just to in addition, so as part of the bit where he's talking about making this perfect person, the plan, the idea, is that to use this what again the Stitch Witch, the witch's magic to bring this thing to life, like doing some Frankenstein's monster stuff here. This doesn't appear that was ever possible with this particular body, but or was ever attempted. I mean, from the what you're seeing, you don't see any.
The thing's gonna get up.
Well, you don't see anything that leads you to believe that this person themselves is necessarily capable of magic. They don't. There's nothing in the notebook specifically about them casting any spells or anything like that. It's
Okay.
essentially this person's trying to get the attention of magical users.
Callum, whenever you get the chance, could you tell our sister what we found? In case she's closer to Tranta. Oh, no, wait, she's going all the way to Wildmount, wasn't she?
Yes.
Well, we should let her know just in case anyway.
There's a
Agreed.
chance that she hasn't left yet.
Now,
Oh, she left.
I will say that since Griswold is taking the time to cremate this amalgamation, during that process, Callum's going in, doing the exact same like prayer sort of thing quietly that he has done with every single corpse that we have found, but he's doing it 4 times in this case instead of 1, since there are at least 4 people in that thing.
Oh, and because Signe had brought it up before, just to further the gross out, there probably is just a ton of like maggots and stuff on that body.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, all right. I'll notice what Callum's doing. I'll just Callum, let me know when you're done, and I'll just have the torch lit in my hand.
Callum will give him a nod, but he's not going to stop his process, and takes a little less than 5 minutes before it's just a nod and a retightening of the bit of fabric over his face.
I will drop the torch on the kindling and alcohol and just head out.
And you guys probably
We should move quickly. There's not much ventilation in here.
Yeah, you'll smoke
Agreed.
yourself. Instead of the smell, you'll just die from smoke inhalation. But yeah, so you knowing that this is pretty much these are mostly just straight hallways. You can all make your way out pretty quickly. It's one of those things though that you'll probably be smelling this for days, and your clothes obviously probably all need to be burned at this point. Any fabric that you have, you're never going to get that smell out. Your armor will probably be all right, but like, yeah, it's
Debatable.
well, You're gonna have to roll around in some like lie or something like that. But it's bad. As you get out, you smell the fresh air, and it's nice, even though the air in probably isn't all that fresh here either. But you know the smell of piss and everything is a welcome change to what you were with, and walking next to each other, you guys could just it's emanating from your bodies at this point. That smell.
As we get out, are these like residential houses that are around us?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna just walk. I'm gonna look at everyone and just say, "I'm sorry, I need to do this." I'm gonna walk towards like the docks, and I'm just gonna keep an eye out for any houses that have people near them.
Oh yeah, Callum is making a beeline straight towards the coast as well.
Ragna will just keep casting prestidigitation on herself continuously.
Yeah, that's fair. As much as like I can stand this, it's not really my scene either. Be quite happy to leave.
So yeah, there's no authorities that you can really go to report this to specifically. I mean, there is the admiral that is sort of the de facto leader of the city, but he doesn't really have there's no police presence or anything like that. So
Well, as I'm walking towards the docks, if I see any clothes hanging out on like a clothesline, or if I see anyone walking by, I will just. Well, do I see any clothes on clothesline first of all?
yeah, you probably do.
All right, anything that looks like a pair of pants that will fit me, I take, and I will find a different piece of clothing hanging on that same line and put 2 pieces of gold in the pocket of it.
Okay.
And I'm going and jumping off the dock into the ocean and completely stripping, putting my new pants on, and washing. The old chick is sink to the bottom.
Yep.
And that certainly helps.
Yeah, Callum is just. I'm at the water. I am head first in the water. The clothes are getting just being worn the whole time because he does not obviously steal a pair, and at least seems to know better than to wander around through town naked. So, but yeah, exact same plan minus the petty theft.
I overpaid for those pants.
I don't know. If I go outside tomorrow, my car is missing, but there's $1 million in a suitcase on the ground. I still think I report a stolen car.
I wouldn't. I'd take that money and run.
Absolutely.
No, I always like people talk about that kind of stuff, and I always think that like if that ever happened to me, it'd be one of those things where it was like, you know, the money was there. It was supposed to be for like the Russian mafia or something, and then you would take it, and then of course they would show up and kill you or something. You know, it's like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Somebody just finds $1 million laying around.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would report my car stolen and that I found $1 million. Maybe I'll get some finder's fee or something. So, we'll go ahead and take a quick bio break, and I'm going to go grab a drink, and then we will pick up in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Is everybody back?
I
Here.
am.
Rob is muted, so I don't know if he's back, but while we were waiting, something that I actually sort of forgot. Callum,
Yes.
Upon mentioning or reading, I don't know if you would have read it or somebody else would have read it, but upon the mention of the Isle of Orchids, that actually rings a bell for you because that is supposedly where the Jack of Spades is from.
Interesting.
It's kind of the Isle of Orchids is sort of it's got a reputation of being kind of a mystical, sort of strange place. Not in a dark, scary way, but more of just a um, I guess a slightly less weird version of like the Feywild. It's kind of like you know a magical place, a mysterious place, but not malevolent. But it's sort of not a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I assume then you all, once you've done your best to clean yourselves up, we're gonna head back to the Queen's Ransom.
Yes. You
Yep.
remember the name?
Yes, only because Tara typed it in chat earlier.
Okay.
I always want to say Queen's Revenge, but that's Blackbeard's ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge.
Well, before you said respite, that's what I thought of too, but that's something from somewhere else. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think the King's Respite is a Critical Role one.
possibly. But yes, the Queen's Ransom is the inn that you are returning to. And upon returning, despite your best efforts, Allie's like, "Oh my God, you guys smell so bad. What happened?"
Well, we found the serial killer,
Well, you
and
found his lair, not him.
yes, that's what. Yes. And the body that he created, and
I
he
feel like
also
that needs some context.
mm, he sewed together body parts and then left the body to rot, and he wanted to make the body appear alive again by using a witch. Well, first he wanted Thanatos, which is the reason for all the markings everywhere. But that didn't work, so he did this instead.
It'd be much easier if you just went and showed her. You want to take a walk back with her,
No.
Ellie?
I'm good. I'm good.
Would you like to lead that expedition?
Griswold just kind of looked around like he's not talking to me.
And just be glad you didn't come with us, Allie.
She just sort of nods her head, like, "Yep, yep, I'm glad."
Okay, I'm gonna go up and get changed and take a bath and destroy these clothes and prestidigitate my armor and throw it in vinegar or something. I will be back. And she kind of stalks upstairs.
Prestidigitate the clothes.
Aster would probably go up to Signe, and she doesn't seem to mind the smell. She just licks your hand.
Hey, baby. I know. Oh, you wouldn't have liked it too much there. It all would have given you a tummy ache. You know what? I agree. I agree with your excitement, Aster. Let's go for a jog.
wag her tail.
Yep, we go
She-
for a jog.
As a dire wolf, she probably doesn't like sitting in a room just doing nothing.
Yeah, I'm a somewhat okay dog owner.
Now, granted, of course, you still would get a whole lot of terrified looks of running around with a dire wolf in a city, but
Like I care.
so, what is everybody's plan? What do you want to do
Walk the dog.
besides walk the dog?
What is the plan?
Clean and take a bath. Ragna's already gone to do that.
Griswold will look at everyone and just say, "If you need me, I'll be in my room," and he's gonna go lay down because he was up half the night anyway because taking watch, so he's tired.
Yeah, that's a good point. And since he and Callum already did a good saltwater rinse, I think Callum will do the same.
Allie looks kind of disappointed. She's been with the dog all day, and then everybody's just leaving. Like finally, somebody comes back she can talk to, and everybody just goes. Everybody just leaves.
Well, I'm gonna go out and buy some clothes and buy some materials if you wish to come with me.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'll head out into the city to buy specific materials, especially 2 diamonds worth 300 gold.
Surprisingly, or or maybe not surprisingly, this doesn't have like a lot of what we would consider like regular merchants, but in a pirate town, it's actually easier than maybe you thought it would be to find some diamonds.
Yeah, just pop them out of a necklace that someone stole.
Yep, easy enough to get in this place. Quite a bit of contraband that you can find.
But yeah, I'm gonna take at least 600 out of the bag to buy 2 diamonds, which we'll need at some stage.
Alrighty.
Yeah, probably buy some new clothes, probably some more uh, women's clothes as well for the sisters, and just some materials for spells. But that stuff I can take off my gold when it gets there. So at the moment I'll spend about 10 to get clothes and basic stuff.
Alrighty.
And is there anything you would like while we're out shopping?
Oh no, I'm good. I don't get covered in blood or stuff, so I'm all right.
Well, I just mean in general. You are allowed to ask for things.
Oh, it's fine. And you can see. I mean, she actually has fairly nice clothing, and even though she hasn't talked about it, you get the impression, sort of the things that she's let slip a little bit, that she comes from a relatively wealthy family.
Well, if you do see something that you like, don't be afraid to ask.
I appreciate the gesture.
So, how are you getting along with everyone and travelling?
It's not exactly what I was expecting. Not really like what I did when I was traveling, but it's all right.
Have you thought of any more stories or songs?
Well, I mean, not a lot. You guys tend to do things that don't really make very pleasant stories. Like, I don't think I could write a song about what you guys just did. I mean, I could, but I don't know how many people would really enjoy it.
Well, don't tell them exactly what we did. Try and put your own personal spin on it.
I don't really write lyrics very much anyway, so I could just write some really scary music, I guess.
Well, I just want you to try and get something out of it.
It's I, I she's stumbling. She's like, well, I really enjoy everyone's company.
Yeah. Anyone in particular?
And she would turn bright red, like, you're all great.
Well, that's good to hear. But, if that's the case, let's get food for everyone. Let's try and find something nice to take back. Then we can all have a meal back at the inn.
Sure.
And
I've had enough of the pies that they have at the Queen's ransom. So yeah, anything, like maybe we can get some fish or something.
yeah, it'd be a good idea. Get some fish, or if we got anything else, any vegetables, we can try and cook ourselves a nice meal.
She kind of puffs up a little bit. She's excited about eating something besides the food, because though it's decent food, there's not a lot of variety at the Queen's ransom. So
Yeah, yeah, I'll spend like 5 gold on quality fish and get a hand on enough vegetables and potatoes for the group, and we can have a nice full-on meal.
Yep.
After that, I'll probably head back to the inn with her.
Yeah, and getting later into the evening, as you guys were all going to bed, then she would, as per usual, she would stay up and play. Um, she she works second shift, and is sleeping during the day when the rest of you are all off adventuring. So she will pay for everybody's rooms again by performing, which in this place is a pretty big feat because it's not cheap to stay here. But she's also quite charismatic.
I'll attend a show, at least for a bit.
Oh, and Arvid would have handed you a set of clothes and some clothes for Ragnar as well.
Oh. I guess I do smell that bad still, huh? I got the hint. Thank you, Arvid.
Don't worry about it. I've got some for myself as well. It's just while I was out doing some shopping and getting some food, thought I'd get some clothes for us.
Yeah, come to think of it, I haven't exactly flexed any womanly skills by learning how to sew.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't know how to sew either.
Want to learn together?
No, not really. Have no interest.
Okay, that makes sense.
But, yeah, I'm probably gonna go have a bath or a wash down, get rid of these clothes, and got some nice fish, vegetable, and potatoes. I'll probably cut those up if you're interested.
I was thinking about popping downstairs and seeing our lady love there.
Well, we can all have a meal downstairs and listen to the performance.
Which is a good one. She rolled a 22 on her performance check.
Nice.
So if would you like to hand your sister these clothes? Because I don't think she'd appreciate even someone she knows, just a random man walking in while she's getting changed.
Yeah, she doesn't have much experience with that.
So,
Temple.
well, here you go. You can take these, and these are for your sister.
Hey, Ragna.
Yes?
Harvey get you an outfit. I'm leaving it here.
Oh, he didn't need to do that.
Yeah, he's pretty thoughtful, that guy. Anyhow, enjoy your bath.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take a quick bath myself, or rinse down wherever I can find somewhat clear water. Just take like a fistful of sand, jam it into my skin, and call it a bath.
Alrighty. So you guys have a decent meal cooked by Arvid. You guys get a full night's rest. You enjoy the performances of Allie as she wows the crowd and pays for everybody's rooms. And then, what would you like to do in the morning?
The night before, Regna's actually going to sit on her bed cross-legged and attempt to contact Zybilna.
Okay.
And she's just going to say, excuse me, Zybilna, if you could, I was wondering if you knew anything about the Stitch Witch?
Give me a second here. For about 5 minutes or so, you actually don't. You nothing. You don't hear anything. Don't see anything. Whatever. And then, from behind you, you don't hear anything. But from behind you, you hear a voice, and turn around to see Zybilna is actually standing behind you in a humanoid form. She doesn't actually look like she did as you remember her when you were a child. Um, she looks younger. Um, she has, whereas before when you saw her, she had just full on white hair. She's got. I mean, I don't know if you would have had this, but potentially we'll just say that you had discussions with Arvid. You get, she has the guise of more of like Tasha. She has like black hair and she has sort of white streaks in the front. You can see that she has the same symbol that you do on her cheek, but it is actually on her right side and yours is on the left. She's got sort of these very bright, bluish, almost violet eyes, and she's wearing a big, goofy kind of, I guess, a pointed hat, a big, like wide brim, black pointed hat, but it's not sticking straight up; it's kind of bent, hanging down at the top, and she just kind of. So, it would take you by surprise because you didn't hear her. All of a sudden, or didn't see or hear anything as she appeared behind you, and then she says, "Oh, hello, my dear."
Oh, hello, Zybilna.
And she sort of looks at you a little bit worried. She says, "Where did you hear the name Stitch Witch?"
Well, we were following a thread towards Thanatos, because that's one of the beings we're interested in, and it led us through a dark tunnel that was man-made or elven-made, and at the end of the tunnel, it seems like a serial killer of some kind that was first interested in getting the attention of Thanatos and then the attention of the Stitch Witch through increasingly insane means. Well, it seemed like he was trying to resurrect or create a perfect creature by sewing the body parts of people together. We have his notes that we've, I think, gone through mostly.
Well, the person that goes by that name doesn't reside in Exandria. As far as I know, there's only one way to reach her. She has her own sort of. It's not exactly a plane of existence, but she has her own sort of dimensional space. But it requires a portal. to reach. You need to have the. Let me type it for you. The Eye of Ocassus is required to reach her, but I would recommend not finding that. And I spelled that wrong. There's only one C.
Um, does the Eye of Ocastus potentially reside in either the Isle of Orchids or the city of Tranta?
I must admit I don't know exactly where it is, but the Isle would be a potential place for something like that.
Okay.
Also, have you heard from your sister? The not the big one.
Oh, yes, it seems like she's headed to Wildmount. I've asked Callum to relay the things that we found on the, I suppose, uh, Zealot of Thanatos slash the Stitch Witch to her, but I'm not sure if he's heard back yet. Is she okay?
Well, if you'll recall, I made mention that there could be side effects of what we use to wake her up.
Yes, she is a little bit different now. She's colder.
Well, I've been keeping my eye on her, and I'm a little bit worried about her intentions as well as um, one of the side effects that I didn't exactly anticipate is that she does appear to be uh, have a bit of accelerated aging, and I think that may be an issue with things that she is partaking in, we'll call it. I can't really get too much more involved, I hear this stuff from Titania all the time that I'm not supposed to meddle, I'm trying to be good. I just wanted a little bit of mischief, so I thought that helping you out would be fun, and now she's constantly harping on me, and, you know, she sort of
It,
just rolls her eyes.
is this something? Should I go find her immediately?
I don't think it's anything quite that dire. I just be wary of things that she may suggest. I don't really, I don't mean to be harsh, but I don't think your sister ever woke up from that dream. Whatever, whatever we woke up is not who you remember.
Ragnar would kind of look down, incredibly worried now.
I'll just say at this point, she's very unpredictable. And normally I would enjoy such things, and I, again, I don't mean to be. I'm still kind of enjoying it, but I'm just trying to be sensitive to the fact that she's your sister. So, and you're kind of getting this idea that like, um, this is like the most personal conversation you've had with Zybilna, and you're starting to recognize that she is a very odd sort of entity. That like you kind of get the feeling that she doesn't really care, but she's trying to like pretend that she cares because she feels like you want her to like care. But you're getting it that it's that when she's saying like, "Oh, I don't mean to be harsh," or anything like that, it doesn't ring very true um, from her, basically.
Ragna will just say, "Is do you know what she's planning entirely? I know she's going after the cult of death."
I'm not entirely sure that's this plan she's continuing on at the moment, but I'm not supposed to say anything. And when she's saying that, you can kind of tell that she is aggravated. She's like, "But I made, I agreed to stop meddling as much."
Okay, no, it's all right. I understand. I will ask Callum to communicate more with her. We have a sending stone.
Oh, well, that's convenient, I suppose. And she sort of awkwardly is just like, "Well, uh, did you need anything else?"
Um, where is the bit of. Just a moment, I'm looking through my own notes.
Well, that's a relief. I thought Ragnar was having a stroke then.
I didn't write it down properly. She wants to ask about, was it devils or demons that were after Griswold?
Devils.
Devils.
She is on the side of the demons, or Tasha was.
Okay. And then she'll just say, "We may have some devils coming after us shortly, or tieflings of the devils. Um, is there anything you would recommend?"
Sort of raises an eyebrow. Well, there's plenty of things to recommend. What exactly do you want to do with these devils?
Well, I do want to kill them. And hopefully kill them so they don't come back. They're after Griswold. I want to protect him.
Well, would any of you be willing to make any pacts with demons? Because that would be the best option.
I'm actually not too sure.
Well, make that suggestion.
Okay.
She's very nonchalantly. She's like, "Yeah, if anyone is unwilling to do that, well, I suppose there are other things that we could try, but that's the best bet. The power of the demons is quite substantial, and getting them on your side against the devils is always a good idea."
Okay. That does seem like it would be smart. Thank you, Isabelna.
Yeah, well, I guess if you need anything, just let me know. And she's again just now she's kind of awkward. She's like doesn't know how to end this conversation, and then um, she just sort of like gets up and kind of pats you on the head, and then dissipates into the air. You see that she kind of just starts walking away, and then she just sort of just fades.
Ragnar just gives a small smile because this is like the first time that she's appeared before her to answer questions and things.
All right. Anybody else want to do anything?
Callum wants to give an update through the sending stone on what we found.
Okay.
So I know there's a word limit on that, so it would just be, let's see, found layer of killer in whatever the name of this town is.
Zanambra.
Zanambra. was trying to contact Nerul, gave up, now seeking the Stitch Witch. Headed to just wrote him down. To Isle of Orchids, or name of the other place. And that's his full message, because that's all
Mantra?
25 words.
Mantra.
Yeah. And that's all he can send.
There we go. I'll put the name of the city on the top.
Yay. I think my roll 20 is a little busted.
Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure I don't tell you or get my 25 words in here.
Mm-hmm.
She mostly kind of ignores what you said. She does make mention that I've never heard of Stitch Witch. We'll be returning to Isilra within the month. New leads in Vasselheim.
Okay.
So, you all get your night's rest.
Is it possible that during the night I could head to the Temple of the Moonweaver?
There isn't one.
I thought that's where they met the
Salune.
Saluna. Yeah, she's still the Moonweaver.
Salune's not the Moonweaver. Sehanine is the Moonweaver.
Oh,
They're different.
same.
Yeah. Salune is a minor. She's a lesser deity. She's the sister of Shar. She is the Moon Maiden, Night White Lady, goddess of the moon.
Oh
and
yeah,
stars.
Moon Maiden. That's what it was. Yeah. I knew it was a moon or something with Salune.
Yeah, it's Salune, and the only temples here are Salune and Cord, as per the use of sailors. Moon and the stars and the sea. You can go to the moon. You can go to Salune's temple if you want.
Yeah. Screw it. I will.
What do you want to do there?
I'm going to reach out into the night and see if anyone on the other side wishes to reach back.
Is there any specific spell or ability that you're doing?
Yeah, I can divination. I don't really have a question, it's just more of a reaching out.
I would say within this particular city, reaching out, you feel almost nothing. It's there's almost like a void. Like even the fact that these temples exist is somewhat surprising. There's at the temple, um, you actually have not since you've been here. You may have seen like a single uh, would be like cleric, but people do not seem to come around to, even to the Temple of Cord either. Um, One of the things that you would be aware of is that the the gods get their power through worship, through people that believe in them, and that's how. And nobody believes in these people here. This is a truly godless city, so that would be something that you would probably at least find interesting. Um, the confirmation that the gods don't live here. The Temple of Selune actually, Cord would the Temple of Cord would have been built after, but looking at it, the Temple to Selune would have been here from the Elven time. So that temple is actually extremely old, and the fact that it's still standing is actually somewhat surprising. Um, but yeah, her in particular, there's nobody here who actually has any reverence for her. I mean, other than sort of uh, the same sort of tales about mermaids and sirens and stuff that sailors tend to have. It's more of a kind of a good luck charm, or the stories that they tell, that kind of thing, than a true belief in the power of these gods to protect them on the sea and stuff like that. Do that in Vasselheim, you'll get a different response.
Yeah. But no, no response is still technically a response. So, that's fine. So I'll head back and get my 4 hours of meditation.
Alrighty. So, and we will say, because Ryan had mentioned this before, we will have had Johan going to see if he could find that paladin of Bahamut who was going towards Israel. Ranulf the Relentless. So, what does everybody want to do? You get up in the morning, you're ready, you're ready to go somewhere.
Yeah, Regna would, once everyone was down at the table, she would say, well, I talked with Sibilna last night about the Stitch Witch. And apparently it's a very dangerous being that lives in her own dimensional space. To reach her, it seems you need a portal. And to get said portal, you need an object that might be at the Isle of Orchids, maybe.
It's possible. The Isle of Orchids, from what I know, is a very magical place. Although Callum kind of scratches some of the salt still in his hair from where he went swimming in the ocean. Just, I don't. When I spoke with your sister yesterday, she hadn't heard of this Stitch Witch. She did say she's planning to return to Vasselheim, though, within the month, regarding a new lead.
How long would it take to travel to Vasselheim?
It's like 2 times the distance from what it took us to travel here, at least.
I forget how long it took to travel.
I think it was like
Yep.
a week and a half.
A week or so, yeah.
We also came by boat.
I would like to meet her in Vasselheim. Did she sound strange?
No. No more so than you've commented on her being. I mean, she sounded like herself to me, but you've all been
She's
saying that she
different.
seems strange since she woke, so.
I suppose
530 miles
stranger.
as the crow flies. 540 miles to Vasselheim.
I hope if it's all right with all of you, I would like to be in Vasselheim when she arrives.
Surprised to hear you say that. Is there a reason?
Oh, Sibilna also said that she might be aging quicker than usual due to her awakening using the Materia Sunstone. And she also said that our sister might be planning something different than what she set out to do. I'm worried.
I see.
I wouldn't mind stopping in Vasselheim to do a bit more research.
Oh, Sibilna also said that a good enemy against the devils, and she looks at, or glances at Griswold at that, would be to create a pact with a demon. I mean, I've already got my pact with Sibilna. Yeah. I mean, if any of you are interested in pact with a demon, it's a good ally to have. And as she's saying this, she realizes how ridiculous it starts to sound.
Yeah, Aviz just starts chuckling into his drink.
To be fair, I know not much on the topic, but more about making deals with devils than demons. I wonder what it entails.
Oh, if you're actually interested, just let me know. I will let Sibilna know.
I was already enslaved to a devil. No desire to be enslaved to a demon, so I'd happily decline.
So, how did the conversation about forging a pact with a demon come about?
I was asking her about how to kill devils.
And she told you to sign a pact with a demon?
Yes, it seems like demons are quite the enemy to devils, and it would be good to have one on our side, she said.
I can tell you how to kill a devil.
The ones that are coming after us that appear to be quite strong.
I can tell you how to kill any devil.
It's much less about how to kill them and much more about being able to, being powerful enough to do so.
No, it depends on the location.
What do you mean?
Well, if the person who enslaved Griswold came here and we managed to kill him, we wouldn't actually kill him. He'd go back to the Hells. So
you have to kill them in their
home.
plane.
Yes.
I believe we had already established that.
So you don't actually need demons, you just need to kill them in their home.
I think what Zabilna was saying is that having an ally of a demon would make it much more possible to actually be able to fight against them.
Possibly, but that's still not a very good option.
Agreed.
Well, primarily because I know you're not a big fan of devils, but they still follow laws and contracts. Demons don't.
Well, no offense to you, Arvid, as someone from the Feywild, and no offense to you, Ragna, as someone who works with Zabilna, but I think that's just her having a bit of fun, hoping that one of us would do it.
Well, I take no offense.
No, I was just bringing the idea out.
Again, we still have much to do before we are able to do that. I would like to do what we can to at least find the ones looking for me. But as when it comes to actually going to the hells and all that, I think we're still quite a ways away from that. So as long as we're actively trying to look for information and find the Neferi and what was the brother's name, Matt?
Eris.
Eris. Yeah, Neferi and Eris. Uh, uh, I'm good with wherever we go, and Vasselheim does seem like somewhere where I could get some more information.
Well, seems we have at least 3 for Vasselheim. Do we backtrack on our original plan then?
Well, I would have liked to see the places we were going, but I do feel like it's more prudent to get ourselves to Vasselheim.
I agree.
Matt, if we were to try to charter a boat leaving here, how possible would that be? I know you said not many people come here, so I don't know if they would be willing to take passengers out.
From here to Vasselheim is probably not particularly likely. The closest port that would get you to Vasselheim is probably Abraxas. And you would
So,
likely have to use your favor to get into Abraxas. Or the other route is that you could potentially, you'd be much more likely to get, you could probably get a boat to take you to Stormhaven. So you could go back to Stormhaven, and from Stormhaven you could get a boat to Vasselheim, but you wouldn't be able to get a straight shot from Zenambra to Vasselheim.
I'm good with going back to Stormhaven.
What do the rest of you think about going to Vasselheim?
I don't personally have an opinion.
Signe?
I guess, I don't know. I mean, worried about Rhea, but I mean, we kind of already had a plan. You know, I'm alright with just sticking to it. I mean, there's a lot of killing to be doing, and yeah.
Well, if it cheers you up, the possibility of being attacked by pirates in these waters are very high.
That is true, and that does cheer me up. How'd you know all the right words to say?
Plus, weren't some of your family headed to Vasselheim as well? Beyond just Rhea?
Yes, my brother and his wife and their child.
Her nephew, oh my gosh, wasn't he so cute when he laughed? Oh, with his little bootsies.
And they did cross paths with Neferi, so
So, your brother would have been, because he was being essentially made a warden of Vasselheim, and he would have been in the general area of Winterheart, which is actually north of Vasselheim, sort of like a, um, I mean, for lack of a better term, it's a suburb, but it's not really. It's sort of like under the umbrella of Vasselheim, though it's
like a
in this
township type thing.
basically, yeah. that's sort of like Winterheart is sort of the area that he was put in place to be the warden of. And I mean, for Signe as well. I mean, going to Vasselheim puts you closer to Tranta if you're worried about that, and also for Callum it puts you close to Twilight's Vigil, which is the Crimson Sepulchre, which is a somewhat interest to him, and also, in case you weren't, you didn't remember, Marcus, your father, for Signe and
That's
Ragnar.
the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, he is somewhere in the north. He originally was. They thought he was going to Dathlider to find a djinn because that was just him being an idiot. But you're not exactly sure where he's gone since then. So he's in the north somewhere.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I definitely want to be up there for that.
So it sounds like we're all in agreement then, to Vasselheim.
Right. Well, it's early enough. I will run to the docks and see if there's anyone booking passage. And I will run to the docks.
You're obviously going to be exploited 100%.
Yep.
So for the also you have to somebody will have to go and find Johann.
Mhm.
So you're gonna
That'll be my job.
You'll lose probably a few days travel just to go find him.
Okay.
And to you're able to find someone who is willing to take you to Stormhaven, and they will charge you 250 gold to do so.
For everyone, right? Or each?
For everyone.
Okay. There's 6 of us, so that'll be probably around just under 50 gold. All right. Yeah, I will accept the offer.
All right. I will put together the ship and crew that's going to take you to Stormhaven for next time, because I don't have them. Because I actually was not anticipating that you were going to go to Vasselheim, so change of plans. Got to.
Is it possible that I could speak to Ragnar separate to the group over those days while we're waiting?
Sure.
Yep.
So, you mentioned you had your conversation with Sibilna. So
Yes.
how did it feel talking to her?
Well, it seemed rather nice. I knew her intentions weren't entirely pure. She has her own amusements, of course, but it was nice being listened to and for actually, well, seeing her there.
And do you believe everything that she told you?
Yes, why wouldn't I?
I wouldn't disbelieve her, but I take everything she says with partial truth.
You see, Regna kind of frowns at you.
Don't worry, I'm not trying to tell you to not listen to her. I'm just... When you're in a contract with someone, especially Faye, there are sometimes they can't tell you everything you want to know, or they have to withhold things, half-truths.
Yes, she mentioned that. I tried to get more information about my sister, but she couldn't reveal that, which was okay. I understood.
So I'm just trying to make sure that you don't pin everything on the information she gives you. Sometimes you have to reach out yourself and investigate it.
Yes, that makes sense. It's part of the reason why I do want to see my sister and make sure she is okay.
The other thing I kind of want to talk to you about is I've had this conversation with your sister about intentions. I've informed Signy of what mine are, and I've allowed her to ask me questions, and I've answered honestly. The same goes to you. If you have any questions, you can ask, and I'll answer them honestly. And you've known Griswold for a while, correct?
Yes.
But what do we actually know of what Callum wants?
Well, we do know he wants to destroy a god.
Why?
I'm not too sure. I mean, Nero doesn't seem like that good of a god.
No, I agree he's not the best god out there. All I'm saying is you understand the intentions of most of the people you travel with, yet one doesn't seem to reveal too much, and it's a key thing of what we're all travelling for.
You're telling me to be wary of Callum.
As I informed your sister, it's just at some stage he may ask you to do something you're not comfortable with, but if we can get him to actually talk to us about his intentions, it may change that.
I suppose I will ask him more when the time comes. Or if he asks me to do something I'm not comfortable with, as you say. But I do trust Callum.
Oh, that's fine. I'm not saying to distrust him. But as long as the majority of us are on the same page of we need to know what the intentions are, then we're not going to get caught out from nowhere.
Yes, what you're saying makes logical sense.
Just remember how I came from the Feywild to help look after your sister? My job now is to keep an eye on, well, quite literally the lot of you. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure you're all taken care of.
Ragnar would nod and say, I suppose continue as you will. Do appreciate you looking out for us.
Just remember, I'll never say to not do anything or to do anything you don't want to. All I'm going to do is allow you the opportunity to choose.
There. That makes sense.
Well, unless you've got any questions, I'll leave you to your musings.
And she gives him a small smile.
And I'll head up and leave her alone.
Alrighty. So, before you guys head out, and we will establish the heading out part next time, but before you head out, is there anything that you wanted to do, say, check out in Zenambra beforehand?
Can I? Since we've been here, the bartender has seemed like a decent guy, right?
Yep.
Like not like some of the other people around here that are clearly just out for themselves and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I will give him the information of where the killer was, and just tell him, like he knows better. He knows the people around here better than me, and he could bring it to the right person if he wants to, or he could just leave it.
Okay. He'll be a bit shocked at the revelation, but
Ensuring him too that it does seem as if they've left, so it shouldn't be any more worry anymore. But still, just in case, people's families wanted closure, blah blah blah.
All right. Well, we can end it there, but before we do, if you have an idea, you can tell me right now. Otherwise, please tell me at some point during the week. But aside from, I know Ragna just wants to go and meet up with uh, Yara, she's calling herself, in Vasselheim. Think about what you want to do while you're there and let me know so that I can prepare whatever it may be that who you want to talk to, what do you want to do, what do you want to look at, what do you want to research, whatever it may be. Let me know so that I don't have to just make it up on the spot.
Sounds good.